because it's neat too with that generator thing. If you plug in sidereal versus tropic, you probably get a different. I bet you would get a different chart. I don't know if there's a setting on there where you can switch it, because you can only really put in one set of birth data. I don't know. I haven't played with it enough. I'm excited to actually hear what you found out about, Todd.
About the oh,
Oh, the charts. I'll throw mine up in there. Let's see. And I think I've got Amy's too. Text me yours, honey, and I'll throw it over here. That way we have some different people, different things to kind of look at. Let's see. All right, okay, Todd, you've got
I
the
have two for
foundation.
some reason. They're two different websites, but if you look at them, they're like a little different. I don't know. One
He
says I'm
said
a.
that too.
Hmm.
Amy said that too. Same thing.
All right,
Go ahead, man.
I'm trying to get us live, so give me one sec here.
You're good. Yeah.
For
Just give
some
me a
reason.
3, 2, 1, and I'll let you open it up. And once again, I like that. Like you're kind of like the host, the main host, running the shit, and I'm kind of like your sidekick here.
You're the main
I don't know,
talent, man. You're the
whatever.
reason for the season. Trust me. All right, hold on
Mm-mm.
one sec.
Yeah, I'm the silly thing that talks, I guess. But all right, man, you do what you got to do. I'm gonna go try to get a fresh bowl going here. Be
Hell yeah.
right there.
I don't know why.
Or
Did
actually,
the
can you just put in this one?
You're the main
I don't know.
talent, man. All right. I think we're live.
Are we on? All right.
Yeah, we're
All
live,
right,
I
I'm back.
guess. We don't have any
Okay,
viewers right now, so it's just us.
hey, no, I mean, in this timeline right now, from this now, you've got to think someone's going to tune in somewhere. So we've already got viewers, which is pretty neat. Yeah, oh, and I've got Amy right here, my partner. She's hanging out on the bed. She is a live viewer. I've got a live audience on my side
Nice. Hi, Amy.
right now. And I do have tons of birds. I've got all the feeders really full. I've got plenty of squirrels. We've got the grackles back in town. The grackles are back. Just a heads up, everybody. What
Yeah.
else came back? Didn't because there's some other kind of bird came back. It's pretty awesome. I forgot what it was, but yeah.
So,
How you doing, Todd?
welcome back, everybody. This is our second attempt at Delicious Divination here. I'm doing
Yeah.
great. Thank you, Barry. My name is
Round
Todd.
two.
Yeah, round two, episode two. Um, I'm good.
Sorry, I've got to tell everybody before we start. I drink coffee,
You had
and I've
coffee.
got a very large espresso coffee with whipped cream and cinnamon on it this morning. So and hazelnut.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm just gonna have a little extra energy for everybody today.
Treat yourself.
That's right. That's right.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
let's
good.
see here. So
It's been a high energy week, but like a slow week for me. Energy. I know we were just talking about this and stuff, but like I
mhm.
had like days too where it was just like it just felt like forever days, like the longest days ever this week. I part of me thinks it's a little bit due to not having any news right now. Like I
Uh-huh.
don't since that other channel got shut down. Like I don't have any news, so
Okay. Yeah.
I'll look at
I can see.
BitChute for like 5 minutes, but I'm always super cautious because everything on there is really nuts. Um,
Yeah, man, I hear you. Once that got shut down, we've been kind of scrambling to kind of get people back together, and it's happening. It's slow. I like the fact that we've got multiple server areas right now forming with a big core group of our I don't know our people that we've enjoyed hanging out with, at least on Discord. That way, if they shut anything down in the future, we've got multiple avenues where I mean,
yeah,
the bottom line is you can run but you can't hide, right? The saying. So that you can never catch something that's on the move. When it sits
right,
still, when it sits down into a group and it gets all comfy and it starts hoarding up and noting information, it builds something. It builds a body. and here
Right.
come the body snatchers to come along and fucking destroy the channel. Or, and then
Yeah.
we scatter like a
For your
bunch of,
safety, right, and your security.
yeah, for your safety. And I don't know, and then we end up in a new area. That's why I always like to use some kind of handle or a different name associated with just my I guess really I think I have multiple internet names at this point. Like when I used to be on Facebook, I'm not anymore, but I had a couple different ones there. I don't I mean, part of the purpose of going onto the internet in a way, you're not looking to be real. You're escaping reality every time you go online,
Yeah.
because the real living reality around you, that analog nature, it's not something where you can go into the woods and just dial up your friends and talk with anybody around the system at the blink of an eye. It's the real world's a little different. So, whatever the internet is, this mass consciousness system, etheric thing, um, very much not even close to a simulation of reality. I mean, we've got biological vehicles that are absolutely divine and beautiful,
Yeah,
and
I call them biomechs.
bio what?
Biomech. Do you
Yep,
watch anime and stuff at all?
yep, biomech, yep,
Just like
yeah, man.
Evangelion, that's pretty much what we are. Just really big
I mean,
biomechanical
it's a
vessels,
beautiful
robots.
biology equals like it's a machine in a way, but it's a machine that can repair itself. So, and machine isn't a bad thing necessarily. It's got the word ma, and it's got the sound sheen, like a shine in it. So ma's shining. And I've got some neat stuff I want to talk about with ma today, but we'll get into that a little later. But
Yeah,
let's see here. Where are we at? We're in March now, right? So
we are in
the M
March.
arc, March has Ma, right? That has the word Ma in it, and it's also got arch. So we're on some kind of arch. We're getting ready to pull into the angles into spring. And yeah, man, this light's about to overtake the darkness, which is neat because
It's
we're in a
good.
system of inverse polarity. So that means the darkness is really about to overtake the light, and the sense world, the visible world, the feeling world, all the things you can taste, touch, smell, see, hear, that's all going to get heightened and stronger and get amplified inside of our souls right now. And then it's going to
Wow.
manifest around us externally as well. So we're about to go into the long night, and that's fun. That's when you party and you have a good time. And nights are for, if you look at the Saturnalia, the Saturnalia, the winter is the real day. That Capricorn energy where the days are real short and you're in that cold darkness. I mean, that is actually the real day, because that's the thing that's casting the shadow sits between you and the light source, or you wouldn't have the shadow of death. The only way to be in a darkness or a shadow in an eternal system of light is to be below an object. So
Mm.
we probably have the moon in between us and the light source, and the whole system of darkness is literally the shadow of death from this massive object. And you've got this shadow that rotates. The shadow, there's a visible circle and an invisible circle, and they're both very visible, but you understand what I'm saying there. We've got two different properties of visible electromagnetism manifesting, which is the visible and the non-visible, really, the night and the day. And that's really the beautiful first step into duality, is the night and the day. Um, I don't need the crazy tangent us right off the bat here, I guess, but um, yeah, man. So March, getting into March. Let's see, you're a little bit more north than me. You got anything popping out yet? Any kind of buds on the trees? You seeing anything? Any signs
Just
of like new life coming in?
I did notice on my walk yesterday, because I usually every day, and I'm fortunate to have some nature. Even though I live in the city, I actually have a lot of nature in my area, and
Okay.
So yeah, I noticed some grass, mostly tufts of grass started like green, starting to pop out,
Yep.
but not a lot of budding
Yep.
yet.
That's the
Birds
first
are
sign to
very
those tufts of grass, because that's
right.
where pretty soon the Easter lilies will pop out of those tufts. So
Yep.
you've got
Yep.
the bundles of grass, which draw on that sun energy, that new fresh green energy, and then boom, in the center of this tuft of grass, you get a lily, and you get all these beautiful spring lilies and Easter lilies popping out, especially in our areas, the Ohio Valley. The more south you get, the more you're going to see them. But
Yeah.
um,
A lot of
I love
squirrels,
this
a lot of
time of year.
deer.
This is how you know. This is your real clock. Every time of year you can measure where you are without any kind of bullshit man system. You
Yep.
can I know for a fact now from living in, and this is that the clock changes depending upon your location. So wherever you are, you can look around you each year and you can see which things appear first. And this is your clock. So I know now that where I live in Kentucky, I'm on year 6 or so, 7 in Kentucky. I've lived in Eastern Kentucky and now I'm in Western Kentucky. And I've noticed that the first things to appear are typically the tufts of grass, like you just said. Then we get the Easter lilies, and then after the lilies start popping out, if you walk into the forest, you notice the May apples. So the May apples are kind of on the forest floor. And then the first trees that you typically see are the beech trees get those little pointy, pokey ass buds. The real hard trees get a little bit of softness first with buds.
Yeah.
So, and then it takes a real long time for them to actually go out into a leaf. So your oaks and stuff like that, if you notice in the springtime when you look out on the hills, the top of the hills where the oaks are, they're the last to actually unfold their leaf. They're still bare up there.
Mhm.
The oaks?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, the oaks are always the last.
I still have a lot to learn in that. I have a tree identification book that has taken me a long
Oh
time
yeah.
just
Yeah,
to understand
actually,
any of it.
okay, so I might have to retract a little bit. I'm looking at an oak right now that actually has new leaf popping out. It's pretty odd. But
Oh,
I live in a, yeah, man. Thanks, honey.
that's all right.
Um, it could be an altitude thing then, because I think what I was referring to when I lived in Eastern Kentucky, you could look out and you could see the ridges, how they were bare. Maybe, and that makes sense. It probably goes from the water up and kind of the greenery. It just races up the hill, and the dry parts up on top of the hill would be the last to fill up with water, which is life. So that makes a little bit more sense since water falls down and those would be the driest areas, and really we're looking at a new rebirth of water each year. So yeah, that could be it too. But back to where I was going with that clock, you can kind of see nature can tell you each year where you live. Now, granted, if you're up in Siberia, this might be a little bit hard to use. You'd have to fucking get your clock down to the different shrubberies and which one blooms before this, and then you could. Oh, we're at the red tail eastern shrub bloom. We're sitting somewhere almost in May now at this point. But around here you have three different, they call it three different winters. So obviously the people of this land, there's certain patterns they've come to notice. And there's, after we hit what we call spring, there's three winters that still come at you. You've got the first winter is going to be, I think, is it Dogwood Winter? Yeah, the first winter. So after you get the first burst of spring and then you go back down into like a week of coldness or 3 or 4 days of coldness, that's called Dogwood Winter. And then you've got Red Bud Winter. And then you've got Blackberry Winter. Blackberry's the last one that happens in June. So
Cool.
these are three little cold spells that swoop in and they open up different buds and different things germinate. And that cold, that hot and cold cracks things open. That change is from extremes is what causes things to burst into manifestation pretty much. So
Yeah.
everywhere you live, I mean, it depends. Out in Oregon, California, West Coast, different countries, Africa, you can do this anywhere. It might be hard on the equator because you have a permanent season there, but you have a different plants as well. You get a lot of your palms, things that are year round. You really, I guess, would need like a deciduous forest, the belts pretty much, the grain belts north and south of the equator would really be your clocks for this. That's where life appears, it's kind of the heart of really the heart um, where you have where things have sex. So you get the difference of the extremes, right? You get the 45-degree angle in between the 90 is the most movement. That 45 is like a knife blade, a knife edge. It's real fast, windy, a lot of things mixing, moving.
Yeah.
It's like the soup. And if you ever look at an electromagnetic model of our system, you can see the how the equator, it's got a belt of uniform energies and heats and things that are going on. There's not a lot of mixing. It's warm. And then as you get out into the in between the pole and the tropics, you get the areas of where those two mix, which is really where all your foods and all your animals and most of your life lives, is in between um, pretty much 45 in like within 10 degrees, um, like 35 to 45 is a very huge populated belt of humans, that concentric circle that goes around our system. And then below that, you get into the more tropical environments once you get below 35 and you start to get down into like 17 degrees. Actually, you have direct overhead sun. So you're getting 90-degree pelting. Like when you hit the Tropic of Cancer, June 21st. If you were in like Puerto Rico, you'd have the sun directly overhead and it would be friggin' hot. That's
Yeah.
the hottest time. I mean, hottest time of year in Puerto Rico, I bet, is going to be like June 21st. And then as the sun goes away from there and retracts and goes south, it's going to start to cool down a little bit and get more comfortable and breezy and kind of Jimmy Buffett sitting with your Margaritaville type thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't like
but
that
June
weather
21st.
consistently though. Like I couldn't live in a
No,
place like that. I need the
I can't.
change.
Me too. I don't do good in the heat very well. Like I'm one of those people that I save my real hard labor for the winter and stuff like that. Like really hard projects. I like to because I can sweat and I mean the summer heat bogs me down. You can't escape heat, but you can always bundle up
Right.
and
Yeah.
escape coldness through either
Yeah.
your activity or through extra layers. So
Yeah. When I was young, I used to hate the cold. I'd be like, this is miserable. And then I'm like, at least in the
hmm
hot, it's like, I don't know, like no, it's
yeah,
not that I prefer one or the other. I'm a spring and fall guy. Like I love that just
for
comfortable
sure
middle
the balance.
temperature.
Yeah.
You know?
Me too. I like a hooded sweatshirt weather's some of my favorite stuff. I really like the coast environment, like that 70s, like it's always in the 70s, 80s and breezy.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of the times on the southern coast. I mean, obviously not in the dead of winter, but um, it's always when it's real hot inland, it's always still real nice and breezy where I guess where the land meets the ocean. So that's some of my favorite environments. Same with the mountaintops, like living on a mountain slope on the sides of a mountain.
Hmm.
That would be incredible.
Yeah,
I'd
that's
be
where I'm
down with
trying to
something like
go.
that.
You
Yep.
ever hear about I think I told you about Franklin Merrill uh
No, no. Tell me.
you know John C. Lilly, right?
It sounds familiar, but let's pretend the audience doesn't know and just go with it.
So John C. Lilly was a dude in like basically from after World War II up until like the 70s and 80s. He was doing like high dose mescaline, high dose LSD. He was the guy who did all the dolphin science experiments. Um,
Neat. Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard much about him. You're gonna have to tell me a little bit more. Go ahead.
Sure, yeah. So, dude, he's awesome. Wrote tons of books. Would take like super doses of mescaline and super doses, or I'm sorry, ketamine. Uh,
Yep.
and he would take like super high doses, and then so he worked for the military, basically military science, doing
Okay.
all sorts of crazy studies. One of them they did was like a test on substances, I think ketamine in like high altitudes. So this guy's done like all sorts of crazy stuff in terms of psychedelics, and he would take like really high doses of LSD and then go in like a float tank or an isolation chamber.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, which is crazy to do by
Wow.
yourself. Like,
That would be gnarly. Yeah, you'd be
yeah,
right down to yourself with your own vibrations. Ooh.
yeah, really cool stuff. And when you start, he has one of his books is called the Didactic Cyclone, which I don't have yet. I just
Yep.
don't have the money to get it right now. But like he so he did, you know, tons of philosophy studies, tons of psychedelic studies and whatnot. And one of the guys he talks about is there's a dude named Franklin Merrell-Wolff. And so,
Mm.
well, and this is where like divination, synchronicity, stuff like that really, you know, push my buttons, so to
Right, right,
speak. So when I
right.
go home, it's like a 6 hour drive, so I got a lot of time to think. I'll listen to podcasts and whatnot. But I was
Yep,
for a long
yep.
time, I kept going, well, it seems to me like if you were to go high, like go up high, technically speaking, you would be high, like get higher. And I'm like, that seems
Right.
logical to me. Okay. Well, so, you know, I'm like, all right, load up the John C. Lilly. John C. Lilly's talking about his ketamine studies in his ketamine studies in the military and his LSD
Okay.
studies and all this stuff. And he's talking about people that want to ascend, get high, so to speak, without doing it. So this guy, Franklin Merrell-Wolff, is like, so this is funny. I literally just pulled him up. Dude died on my birthday. That's literally
Wow.
insane. That's so insane. Wow.
That is crazy.
I'm gonna pull this up one sec. But yeah. So so Franklin Merrell-Wolff was he's gonna I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it without psychedelics. Like I'm gonna go into
Right.
those states without it. So what he did, and I guess he got a message or some sort of thing. He went and literally moved like 6,000 feet like lived on the side of a mountain and like
Wow.
just began like being like a guru for these people or not, I'm sorry, not a guru for people, but like a self-guided guru essentially for himself.
Right.
So
He was like a conduit for this energy that would come into our system by pretty much donating his life to being up on that mountainside for the people or for a higher
yeah,
good, greater good.
yeah, so he would basically be a mystic up there, and he had students, but what he would do is write tapes for these people, and then they would just dispense the tapes. So John C. Lilly went up there. They like bought like a trailer or something, put an isolation tank in it, and like went and lived in the mountain near this guy. And like he said, it's totally true. He said when you have these substances up there, you like stay high longer. But what he was saying too is you actually don't need it as much to get as high, which I thought was very
Yeah,
wild. Um,
I imagine. I mean, that mountain, and if you think of where we sit in density, we're in a density game. So if you change your local density around you, if you were to go let's say, put yourself near this huge, super dense mountain, and you were on the side of it up high, you would be pulling in quite the field around you. You would be attracting it would be like putting yourself in between this huge magnet and all of this stuff that's coming at you
mhm,
to the magnet. So you're going to get pierced by all of this cosmic energy all the time. And that's energy that's not typically going to stream through you down in a city or a countryside because that's not the nature of the city or the countryside as it doesn't have this pinnacle and this mass area of density, this node. If you
mm,
look at those locations where there are like mountains, those are areas of where this system, this pretty much central golden rod that we sit on, it's like it's attracting rust or a body in it. And it really what that rust or that body is it's silver. And the silver comes in from the cosmos and is kind of builds up into these. If you look at the Rockies, it's one giant silver anode in my book. And that's just this, if you look at a welder, the way they combine metals and the science of different heats and different properties of combining this metal into this and working these different angles, and you need this type of weld. I mean, all of that information would be alchemical things that are happening on a grand scale. And then all of those things, if you look at our system, this is probably why areas like Michigan and they knew that that was a node where copper and sulfuric oxides just started sticking to our system. So our system, and you can know that that area of the circle, you can start measuring out 360 degrees, and you can know what builds up where. And then once you start understanding this direction coming in, you can, and if you know, let's say that those are the degrees of Virgo, and that's, let's say, mutable Earth, then you can start to come to know things about mutableness, about Earth,
Yeah.
and then you can apply those to other areas of the globe where you have either mutable or Earth energy, and you can learn something about where you are and apply it to one of the other areas where the trine in the element occurs, or the trine in the mode occurs. So, or I'm sorry, the mode has four and the element has three. So each mode, whether you're cardinal, fixed, or mutable, there's four of those each. And then each element, whether you're fire, earth, air, or water, there's only three of those each. So it's a neat 3-4-4-3 system, very much a 7-7, and which of course is the 14, which is the 1-4, which is the one cross. It's the one plus the four is the five, which gives you phi.
Yep.
Phi is the nature, beautiful stuff that we look at all around us. Everything's in phi proportions. And yeah, I mean, this whole system is a deep designer system. We are in a deep, deep, deep designer program, like a very beautiful one. Whatever this is, somebody put a lot of attention to detail in it. Think around. You can't, like Rick and Morty, can you see the errors around you? Can you find glitches? Can you see things that aren't supposed to be happening, that haven't been coded properly? I mean, even the birds. I mean, I watch things very closely. This place is beautiful. This, whatever this is it's outside what Bill Gates can do. It's outside what any computer program, what any AI can do. This is something very different. This is something that is loved. This is something that is cherished, and it's envied. This is something that they try to match. They try to match everything. They're chasing nature all the time. They want to just, and nature's always giving you the new gifts. It's always giving you the latest updates, the real tech. I
Yeah.
mean, that's where it all comes. You get your new tech every year when you get Aries. I mean, that's the new birth of the new mind energy. It's the new ideas. It's the new cardinal fire. It's the new gold. It's the new deposit. Um, that's it. Pa, is it? I mean, when you look at it, Pa's out there looking for a woman. That's why gold attracts silver, and
Different
that's
mall.
why that's it. And that's why it starts with March, the Ma Arch. You're out there arching in a circle and making a diameter, dying, falling, the fall of man, making a fellow, you fell low. And that's how you chop a tree down with as a feller. A chainsaw is somebody who is a feller. And that's how this whole thing fell. It fell into a density. So when you drop
Right.
a tree, when you chainsaw, when you cut the tree down, the whole entire tree, if you cut it, imagine a tree that had a dense physical base and then it just disappeared off into the ethers because you couldn't, with your little earth surface size, you couldn't see the rest of the tree and all the dimensions that it went up into as it climbed through dimensionality.
Yeah.
And the tree itself was the ladder the whole time. And the tree of life, very much now etherically and cosmically, is the blood. So each time you don a new incarnation, a body, a vehicle, you get your blood, you get your flavors, you get everything you've done, you get to carry it with you. So that's why nothing ever goes to waste. You're constantly carrying your accomplishments and your failures with you as you go,
Yeah.
and none of it's really a failure or an accomplishment. It's just an experience you hold, and to judge it with a good or a bad or a left or a right is of duality, and you really don't need to get involved with that. I mean, you can, but it's
Yeah.
sticky.
Have you ever heard the McKenna saying, nothing,
Yep. I'm gonna
everything?
sip some coffee here. All right, Todd, take us into the next area.
Oh, um,
I'm
well,
gonna chill for a second,
yeah,
watch some
one sec.
birds.
Um, I'm trying to find. McKenna has a great quote, aligned with that. Is nothing, everything. Give me a second.
Well, I guess, I mean, this wouldn't be a bad spot to go into a tiny little segment I wanted to just share. I've already shared it with, I think, a few people on our Discord this week, but um, if you go up, you
Nothing
can probably,
lasts, but nothing is lost. There it is. Sorry. Nothing.
what's to say that again?
The quote is nothing
No,
lasts, but nothing is lost.
nothing lasts, but nothing is lost. That's perfect. Yeah. Nothing lasts. That's right. It's of temporariness, but all that temporariness isn't lost. That's neat.
Right. Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
got the psychedelic. I mean, when you do mushrooms, that's pretty much it's like one of the things they tell you. It's like, hey, look at us. We're pretty much immortal. um,
Yep. And
um,
that's what that'll open up is that whole part that they try to keep hidden. That's why those substances are for healing because they bring you closer to your self identity. They help you see all these things from an angle that's always there that you're just not always tuned into.
right.
Um, yeah, and no person can make this. I mean, they've tried. Acid isn't a mushroom. I mean, those are two different things. LSD and the natural psilocybin. I mean, there's differences. You
Oh
get
yeah.
dependability when you take acid. You know what's coming each time. Typically, you can get some kind of measured expectation. Mushrooms are not that way um, at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they
Mushrooms
have
are
certain.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain dependabilities, but at the same time, there's very much the unknown attached to each time you choose to heal and use those substances as well.
But
That's at
it's
least how I've experienced them.
yeah. I mean,
um
it rewards you for
Very
courage too. Like that's a great
right.
another quote. Nature loves courage. I mean, you know, I gotta think
It really
about it before
does.
I do all those things because it's a lot of work, but it is medicine, absolutely. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. Did you wanna?
Ab-
You started talking. I'm gonna assume human design system, but let me know what you think. Or
yeah, I mean, let me see. I mean, nature does. It's courage is really much it's um core age. It's a neat little some sounds in that word there, but
yeah,
it's an age is a GE is like a generator a little bit almost. Looking at that set of sounds, but
right.
an inner movement is AGE because A is either time or space depending upon if it's short or long, and then you've got G is inside and E is movement. And really, if you look at what an inner movement is a generator that creates time and space. So it doesn't matter if it's a short or a long A. That's why you have the sound age and age. And you can get a massage, like a massage, or you can get a message. And I mean, and they're almost pretty much spelled the same. I mean, they're not, but
Yeah,
um,
J's a weird letter. How it can sort of warp the
very,
way it works. I guess
very
you could
much
say.
so. And what makes all of that possible is the teeth. The
Oh, the
teeth are
teeth.
what form the yeah, because teeth form the word. Now, if you don't have teeth, you can make sound. So you can make a bunch of sounds, but you can't actually crash the air up against the rocks and form the words. You've got all the different parts of the mouth are very much the beautiful organs that you only get one of. You only have one mouth. You've got two eyes, you've got two ears, you've got two nostril thingies,
Right.
you've got two lungs, you've got one heart, you've got one sexual organ, you've got one liver, you've
One
got
pineal
two
gland.
kidneys, you've got one pineal gland, one thyroid, so there's a system going on in your body. There's an axis. You're either on the system of the mono, the one, the glands that come from the beginning, the oneness, or you've been combined with the lower glands, the glands of the two. Everything, breathing air, that's a lower animal function. Breathing air, breathing spirit, that's a higher spiritual function.
Hmm.
So the lungs are a system of two. We could break down the whole body probably and look at all the different things. And like gallbladder, you get one of those.
Yeah.
So these should all show you. in terms of where they come from. So the system of the one would come from your parents, which births the system of the two. These two systems interacting with each other is very much the child and the three, the Trinity, the one and the two, which which is why the clock starts at 12. You don't see the clock starting at 18. It starts at 12. It's a three. Three is movement. It drops in, and then the two 12s are the 24, which the 24 is just the two 12s are the plus and minus, a positive 12 and a negative 12. And that's Jupiter right there. And that's because Jupiter takes 12 years to go around the zodiac, and hit its position that it started at and to conjunct its original position. So the
Mm,
12, the measure system, and that's why Jupiter controls all the things that grow out of your reticulum in the back of your neck that connect the power source, which is the mercury and the electricity that runs through your veins and arteries, all that blood. That is the blood is very much that the form of your body down here. The word expressed is Jupiter in the blood. So all those vessels and all those little fibers that go out of the back of your neck that are a spider web that connect to everything in your body, that that is very much Jupiter. That shows you where all the triggers and switches are for each of your muscles. So if you want really good control of your arms, like let's say you've become a really good baseball player. You don't become a really good baseball player by just waking up one day and wishing that you were a really good baseball player. It's just not how it works.
right.
Here in this analog system that we're in, to become a very good analog baseball player, you would need to train, practice, work your analog muscles. And what would be happening in the background is Jupiter would be dialing in the perfect form. So that's why it's important, in children's sports and just things in general, that your form very much matters because Jupiter is in your system, dialing, measuring a perfect suit for you. It's like you're at the tailor shop and all these measurements are being made. Jupiter is going to know exactly where to attach each of these fibers to your Mars muscle because it goes 6-5, which is Jupiter Mars. And Mars is the movement system. So the actual muscle moving up and down itself is Mars. And who triggers that? Jupiter does. And that it goes 7-6-5 right there. And then and it's almost like 7 sexed 5. And 6 is sex. The Jupiter system is the sex system. So, and Saturn as the seventh is really the G, the inner G. So the inner G of the whole entire system is where all of the inner inside G is the seventh letter. Seventh is the seventh centric sphere of Saturn. And Saturn is the last visible of the visible things you can see. That's why Saturn's the bridge to the unseen. That's why the visible world around you not only contain, these are all the Saturn things that all you see with your eyeballs, with your sense system at the height of Saturn. And then Saturn would be the bridge to jump off into the unseeable, the things to Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Pluto is going to be your bridge. Your unseen bridge is your bridge of moral character and how you act when nobody's looking, how you treat things, how you treat the world around you. Chiron's watching this as the moon of Pluto. And then this is measuring your overall character of your solar system. So your soul arc, how you arc through each of the creator's body positions. Can you act like the creator acts? Can you have these dedicated movements and make these geometric patterns in your soul as well, just as the creator does?
Mm,
And that's the goal, is to emulate and to be, as the child. The child watches the parent. If the child watches the television, you're going to get a bunch of shit.
yeah.
And that's where we are. That's why we're in the bathroom. I have got this theory. We're in the bathroom. That's why you wake up out of your dream and you're out of reality, to come here to use the bathroom. And then you can't fall asleep and you can't get back to reality, so you're stuck in the fucking bathroom. And then pretty much you go through your waking state in the bathroom. I mean, look at, in my father's house there are many rooms. Does every room have a bathroom? No. Would eating be something specific to a animal state, a lower being state? Yes. So would your father's house need a bathroom? No. No. So a bathroom is outside the father's house. That's where we get the outhouse idea. That's why originally there were outhouses. You didn't keep your shitter inside your house because the father and the house doesn't contain a bathroom because the father and the mind is not material of the body, which is of the woman, and the father doesn't eat physical dense food. The father focuses on the positive forces of the air and the fire to eat. And the woman, she eats the earth and the water, the two negative bodies. And these two married together give you this beautiful thing that we're doing right here. And um, then that's really the beauty of it all is the mother and the father, the body, the mind and the body working together. You have exalted states on both sides, which is what we've been kind of seeing with that new system we've been looking at a little bit. If you notice on and for the audience there, the human design system, the humandesign.com, there's a couple different sites and versions of it out there, but if you look at it, when you go to pull up your numbers based on your birth data, you've either got an up arrow, a down arrow, or nothing in all your two pillars on the left and right. The up arrow means that this gate is in an exalted position. So we've
Hold on
touched
one
a
sec.
little bit on. You're good.
Um, hey, you want to talk
And then
about
a
teeth
down.
before you do that?
What's that? Oh
You
yeah,
want to?
yeah, yeah. Let
We
me
did start
finish up
talking
on
about
teeth.
teeth a little bit. Do you want to go into that a little more, and then we can jump on that?
Yeah, yeah,
Because I can
I
pull up
do.
images
So
to
if
help
you want,
explain the human thing.
pull up the images of the teeth. So we're in a good spot to go into the teeth. Um, so we've got, yeah, in divinatory delineation there, I've put, so the teeth are not what we've been told at all. The teeth are very special. Think of the teeth in your body. Every other cell in your body regrows. You get two sets of teeth. You get one practice run, ages 0 to 7 or 8, and then you start getting your permanent teeth in. And teeth are pretty much an outer bone. They're almost like a horn. They're exposed to the outside. They're shiny. It's like porcelain versus the other type of an internal bone, which actually is more of a sticky glue type of a bone, which attracts substance to it. A tooth or a horn is a bone that emanates forces from it. And this is why the bone of the mouth emanates the sound. And this
Hmm.
is why the whoever can see far, that would be who's sitting up the highest and the tallest, and that's why they come up with talking as the talking. And that's somebody who can see far, a seafarer. Somebody who can, the electricity is the sea, is the letter C, is the ocean sea, is the sight sea. All of these sounds sound the same and they come up with different bullshit spellings in our spelling system to confuse you. But C is C is C. To see is to see is to see. And that's
Right.
just how it's going to be. And that's why there's no puns in the original root sound system, because sounds mean something when you echo them and they cause vibrations, and those vibrations build something. A plane is a plane is a plane. These, they've really got us messed up with meaning, interpretation, spelling. It's caused something. That's why we didn't always have the written word, because the written word's sloppy. The
Yep.
written word allows for little bad, nasty habits to get in there and for people to rule over you and to give you a spelling book and to be in a spelling bee. We are not in a spelling bee. The letter B is a 13, which is really supposed to be our prime number in the center of our gold node of this system, which is why if you throw up that Bitcoin logo, they've got a B as a 13 on a gold coin in the center, and it's attracting in the silver of the cosmos around it. And the silver is all the mountains that build up on the pole, and this is how you get life. The life comes from the silver, which attracts water because mountains attract fresh water to trickle down from the salt oceans, and that's how you get the hydro system that happens is from these salt anodes that build up on the gold pole, and all of that silver that's coming in is literally what builds your teeth. And that's how you get the word. And in the beginning was the word. And without teeth, you can't echo sounds, or you can't echo words. You can only echo sounds. You got if you and that's why missing teeth, miss, sing. She's toothless. That's why in the movie it's a female baby dragon and it's toothless. It's black. It's a female.
Hmm.
She's got missing teeth. The father has the teeth. The father forms the words. She sings. She's Miss Sing. She doesn't have teeth. She's, I mean, she's toothless.
Yeah.
He has the teeth. Teeth are a masculine, male, a bite and a bit. I mean, a Bitcoin. That's the past tense of bite.
Excuse
You
me.
got bit. That's bite is the past. Bite is something you're doing in the now. Bit is the past tense of it. So something chewed you. I mean, something bit you.
Oh,
So
excuse
like
me.
a snake bite. Those little slithering silver things that are coming in on the Bitcoin image to get to the gold coin, those are the slithering snakes. Snakes are on their belly.
Yeah.
Snakes can only make sounds like a bell, E. It's only got the energy of sound. Bell, E. Belly is your gut mind. Belly is not your positive air fire system. It's your negative water earth mind, your membrane, your mom brain, which is a very high brain. Your little
Ah.
golden-rod brain of the father as the son here is like you're trying to develop this perfect personality as as gold. You're trying to be pure as gold, and it's very hard. You know, a lot of us end up on copper and some other derivatives like iron, which is a derivative of the silver system, which means you're of the feminine system. You come from the woman's side. If you've got copper in your blood, you come from gold. I'm sorry about it, but chemicals don't lie. And the systems in your body that make up your blood, these are all there for a reason. These all come from some place. These all explain a certain thing inside of you. These are not coincidences. These are parts of your program that you're sent here with. And it's not a bad or a good thing. Just because you've got copper or iron in your blood doesn't make you good or bad. It doesn't make you better or worse. It's just a different tool for a different agenda that you've come down here to tackle. And nobody can do those agendas better than each one of the people that are trying to execute them. It's our
Right.
biggest hope at each one of our plans that we're trying to do with each human. They're the only chunks of stars that could come in to be the stars of the show and to try to get a chance at executing the plan. And we're all trying. So the teeth are very important. The teeth are, you
Do
only,
you
like I said, you get one shot on your
yeah.
teeth.
Do you know about
I
the
mean,
Ayurveda? Ayurveda, the Hindi I don't know if it's India type of basically body astrology, bioastrology. It looks like it's a lot like this, where each so for them, each body part, each so for instance, your hand would have aspects of all other parts of your body within it, and this
absolutely.
looks exactly the same with your teeth being each tooth
Absolutely.
position representing a different part of your body. That's why I
Absolutely.
have several
So
books
your
on it.
teeth, yes, your teeth are a fuse for your circuit. So what
Hmm.
happens in your house when you get a storm and you get too much energy on the system and it overloads your fuse box, blows a fuse. Well, what happens when humans fucking get too much energy? You lose a fucking tooth. All your teeth are tied to your organ systems. So if you look at that one tooth chart I posted, it shows you where the circuitry that each tooth is connected to. Check out where they show the wisdom teeth going to the left and right major ventricles of the heart, and a bunch. Let me pull it up here and read this off for
Sure.
people. This is why the pull your wisdom teeth in your heart. It's right here. So, and look at wisdom teeth. Once again, it all started with the word. In the beginning was the word, and then we've got wisdom teeth.
It
Right?
took
They're
mine
the
out.
back teeth,
It
your
took mine out.
backbone.
It was
It's the
awful.
backbone of the whole system. And then look at what the wisdom teeth do. Look at what number it is. Teeth 232.
Hold on, you're breaking up a little bit. Take
That
a
makes the okay. You guys gotta hear this. Okay, can you hear me?
yeah, take a
Can you hear
breath.
me?
Now you're good.
All right. So check this out. The wisdom teeth are your 33s. Okay, so on the bottom right side of your mouth, you have teeth position 32, your bottom wisdom. Above that, you have tooth 1. That goes to the right heart, small intestine, inner ear, the pituitary, the right colon, shoulder, elbow, hand joint, foot, and toes. And also the right heart terminal, the shoulder, elbow, hand, yep, foot, and toes. So you have your grounding system and your heart system right here on your right side. And that's tooth number 1 and tooth number 32. That equals 33. On the opposite side on the left, you have tooth 16 on the top, 17 on the bottom. 16 plus 17 equals 33. Christ, 33. Yep, that's right, folks. They killed Christ at 33. What do they do with your wisdom teeth? They kill them. Yeah, they pull them right out. And
It
that's probably
sucks.
why you get pee pull. Pee pull, life pull. Pee is life, and then you've got pull, life pull. I wonder what they're really doing with our wisdom teeth. Where do our wisdom teeth go? Who the fuck knows?
They probably grind
Anyways,
them up and eat them, man. They're weird.
right. We know that 33 is where movement starts. 32 is frozen. 33 is where water life starts. So you very much got something huge going on tied to your heart and your grounding system that they pull out of you as soon as they can. Pretty much as soon as you're old enough for surgery, you're ready to go get your first surgery and get your wisdom teeth removed. Yep,
Yeah.
I've
It
got
was an
mine
awful
removed.
experience, man. They took. I went back. They're like, it's doing great. And then a week later, I go back and they're like, you have dry socket, which I did, and it sucked. And it took
Yep.
probably 10 years to get the little scraps that they left of my teeth in there. 'Cause they left like
Oh
little
my
bits.
god.
So like I
Oh
would
my
have
god.
moments where like I would have like a literally small, really tiny fragments of like bone and shit that would like slowly be working its way out of the back of my gums. Like and like we couldn't sue
Uh,
them, we couldn't do anything, it's just like, oh, we have to take these out, and you're like, okay, and yeah, and you do
it's not, and if you
wonder.
look at those images I put up with the old medieval dentistry. I mean, you've got on this one image you've got these two men and then the person acting as the dentist. You've got this long weird black snake thing with teeth on it. Look, it's collecting teeth,
Yeah.
and the tool to remove the teeth is the dark energy. So having a shitty circuit in your human body is what blows your teeth out of your body. Look at what happens when you become, I like this example too. So eth in equals teeth. Ether is teeth. Look at element 43 and 61 of the stable elements that are visible. They're the only stable elements that are missing in this system. What does that tell you about those two elements? To me, it tells me those two elements are called technium and like promethium or something like that. You know what that
Hmm.
probably makes? That probably makes porcelain, and that probably makes teeth. And you know what? We're probably missing the teeth of this system, the
Hmm.
form, the logos. They wrecked all the buildings and beautiful cities. That was our teeth. That brought
Hmm.
in the form. The teeth are like the key to the lock. They bring in the exact forms you need, all the cosmic energies. It's like setting up this. I don't know. I mean, without teeth, you can't chew anything. You can't bite off anything to chew. You can't eat, so you
Right.
can't eat spiritual food. So these teeth, this concept of teeth is very important. Look, if they've shown you in these medieval images, these are esoteric images. Look at the one on the top in there with the woman getting a tooth pulled out. She's got a sun behind her head. She's this golden, beautiful thing in white. She's getting her tooth removed. Who's removing the tooth? This jackass Jupiter, red blue. It's really Saturn, it looks like, with a red undercoat, but he's got a blue overcoat with white rolled up sleeves. What does that mean? Well, it means it's Saturn hiding with the coat of Jupiter. So he's got a disguise of Jupiter, and Jupiter is claiming to do the divinatory work and to keep you safe, healthy, and pure by removing this toxin. So doing the work of high character, of white, of Charon, of our whole solar system, being a good wounded healer, healing other people, but you can't always heal yourself, healing others first. So they're showing you what happened to this system with this big lie. We had this beautiful golden hair right there, and then they're taking our tooth, so we don't know the form anymore, so we can only make sounds and chaos. All we're doing is we're a bunch of toothless woman born things just echoing retarded sounds at each other. And you know what our retarded sounds sound like nowadays? what time is Grey's Anatomy on this week? Or hey, did you hear
Yep.
about so and so? We have all this
Propaganda.
dumb earth shit that we think is really cool and important and that we should fill our soul and our spirit up with, that we want to build our cosmic seed with. And you know what's going to happen when all this stuff births coming up? I mean, if you look forward to the afterlife, that means you're in the before life. So if you've got the afterlife coming up, you're sitting in the perspective of the before life. Before life is the seed. A seed before it's grown is this little hard object with all this magnetic potential. Are right now a magnetic being, and you're forming your magnetic egg. You're a magnetic seed. You're programming a magnetic set of ridges and ethers and forms that all of a sudden what's going to happen when this real germination comes in, when the shields go down, you're going to fucking grow into this insane object that you've actually been creating with this magnetic recipe that you've been building in before life. And that's what happens in afterlife. It's the result of what you did here, about what you stacked up in energy, about what kind of desires you built. What did you build for a magnetic pull? What did you crave? What did you desire? Did you overcome desires? Did you overcome your all your animal lower desire natures? Because if you did, your seed, you're going to have a shot at being a real human, a real zygote that won the race, that fucking broke the shell. What do you think we are? Everything down
Neo.
here is a fractal. We're a bunch of little sperm seeds getting a race, trying to make this egg pregnant, hoping that we become, I guess, the god that escapes of this system, that becomes the mind that encloses off. There's still a way out. The fact that you look up and you can see the real visible sun through a slit tells you that nobody's gotten out of the system yet. This is still a ripe egg for a being to make the rest of it its body and its star body. And then all of a sudden, everything inside of here has become a body to, it's now a new inner reality, and then everything gets organized, all the things get arranged, so everything gets put where it goes. The shit goes with the shit, the beautiful gems go with the hard fighting blood goes with the hard fighting blood down to the spleen. The stuff that's really good at making nails, tooth and bone, that's good at ossification, is that sits still and they go make bone. And the high movement, the crazy fast freaks. I mean, the Arcturuses of the system that are going so quick that you can't even imagine like how fast they're going, because we can only see light at some constant visible speed from our perspective. And I mean, that's where all that's going to go, to the unseeable. It's going to still be beyond the next round of seed germination. So whatever you're doing right now, whatever kind of seed you're preparing, when this thing goes to get impregnated by the real electricity in afterlife, it's going to it's going to be invisible there. So you're going to be part of the positive forces in that system, either the air or the fire. Everything else that fell, that was too dense, is going to be part of the earth and the water system. And that's okay. Once again, none of this is good or bad or good, or better or worse. This is all a position. This is all where you perceive what we call time from. It's where you make your center. We all got to send her somewhere. You got to
Right.
put her somewhere.
Um,
Send her to the center. Put her right in the center.
it's interesting that
Center right there.
you
I mean,
it's interesting that you are interested in
that's
teeth this
teeth.
week. Huh?
That's teeth. That's all I mean, that is teeth in a
Well,
nutshell.
let me
Teeth
tell you
are vital.
this.
Meth.
So, huh?
Meth removes your teeth. So the
Sugar,
sound
man.
F,
Sugar's terrible.
sugar removes your teeth. That's how you get a bitch. She bit the CH. She bit the sugar, the
Yeah.
starch. That's how you got a female dog. That's how you had a fee on the male. The male is male. Once you put a fee on the male and you attach this extra charge, you get a female. You get a bitch. That's why you get a Bitcoin. Somebody bit the coin. Yep, it's real gold. That's how you check to know if it's real gold. You bite the coin. You don't bit the coin, you bite the coin in the now. Bit is a past tense. This is all fuckery that they're doing. That's why they have a B. It's a 13. It's not a B, it's a 13. It's a prime number. It's a gold node. The field is silver. That's why silver is more rare because it comes in from the field. If you are gold and you're attracting silver to you and you collect silver, that makes silver what we should all be collecting. It makes it the real moon E, the mun E. It makes it what rules the moon, the silver. Look at the other logo I put up. It's 1111 right now.
I know.
It's a
Make a wish.
Citibank card. Pull up, show everybody the Citibank image. You've got a silver moon cube going around concentric circles, and it's got vibrations going out, causing reflections as our sound barrier. This is the sound wall. It's showing you right there. It in the beginning was the word. Look at this. Look at this silver loudspeaker. And where does a loudspeaker sit? It sits in a stadium. Stadium means stay diem, stay day. The day is gonna stay right here. Wouldn't want that bitch moving around. Look at that thing. Look at that silver cube. It goes around these concentric circles. Ooh, what a cool logo they decided to put at the center of the pole. Is that a colonial person, like a patriot and an Indian? Yeah, it sure is. I think we were just talking the other day. What's the opposite of an Indian summer? It's a colonial winter, folks. That's what you have right there. An Indian summer and a colonial winter sitting right in between the two tropics. And look, we have a blue and a dark night. So the blue is the day, the black is the night. The black sits on the outside or lower. The it's showing you right there the circle of the sun, which is that red and that yellow, with the Vesica Pisces as the orange, where the balance is hanging out at, that gives you the blue day. Look at the angle. It shows you that a 120-degree angle creates that right there. And then on the other side, the other 120 creates the moon system. And then the moon itself gives you the night, the dark shadow. So the sun sits above the moon is casting a shadow down. That's why we only see one face of the moon, because you see the underbelly of it. And that's why the moon is really an ionosphere, which we've seen in those moon map videos, and then we have a perfect reflection
Yep.
of our system. I
Yeah.
mean, this is just all mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all?
Have you seen the
That
new
fucking
videos on that? So now
on what?
on the moon, there's a guy. I'll have to share them
Oh,
with
on the
you. The
moon guy? No,
compass.
no.
It's a
I
compass. Like you can use it as a compass.
compass.
You can use the moon as a compass
You can use it
because
as a compass.
I don't understand it 100%, but basically when you can figure out where you are on the moon by looking at it,
You-
and they're starting
Oh,
to figure it out. So what I
that's a
find,
good call.
I don't want to go on a total tangent. I do want to say something about this card though too, but yeah, the moon. I mean, that's going to change everything.
Yep,
I mean, I don't
it
know.
is.
I don't really
And
want
you
to
can
go
see on
into
that
all of it right
card,
now,
you've
but
got a cross in the middle. You've got a cross
yeah, in
right
this
in the
card,
middle. Um, all right, go ahead. And it
yeah, I
says
see. Yeah,
established. I can't even read the date, but look at the
yeah,
name, Linda Walker. That in itself right there, Linda Walker, that's very cryptic, that name, like a line, like L in, so 90 degrees is L, that's logos, in the Walker,
yeah.
wall core. I mean, you're in this wall making system. You're making walls. You're making a body here. All these
Boxes.
concentric circles that are rising up, that's a mountain of walls. Those are different layers. You're adding bodies and layers to you. Look at the ring. Look at the way the frequencies beam. The outer frequency is the skin, and as you get closer, you get the bone. That's why the bone is back to back. That's your spine. I mean, that's the center of your spine right there. That's the gold. But go ahead, you tell me something about that. I'm gonna chill and breathe.
Well, it's really fascinating. So to be able to break down something like this credit card is really impressive to me. As a designer, so I have a designer's perspective on this, and
Yep.
I'm sitting there like, I worked at a marketing agency. I worked with people doing designs and stuff, and it's very interesting. So it's like, is it the spirit that channeled through to the being who sat down and made this, or did they actually have someone who knew what the hell they were doing sit down and make this? Because it's two different people,
Both, I
right?
think.
One is
I
me
think it's
and just doing a
yep.
job for a client. In while I like I mean, I wouldn't design something like this because it's not really that appealing. But like to have the symbolism to so for instance, like where I'm at in my life, like I'm not a super expert, but I know enough. I know the symbols, I know the basics of the elements and such, so I can like
Yeah.
incorporate
I mean, everything
that
I
stuff
just said
into
though,
my
that's way too many. That's way too many coincidences almost to
sure,
have it not
yeah,
specifically designed. I mean,
yeah,
you could break that right down to the. I mean, logos and symbols are all imagery
yeah,
they've specifically chosen on purpose. So this is a very designed image. It has to be. The people at Citibank, City in itself, the banking system, those are all very high up. They think they're gods of our system or something. Look at this.
yeah.
Yeah, look at the shield. Look at this shield inside the moon. It's got a shield reflector with 3 bars. Like it's showing it with a little hole. I mean, all those little things right there are probably huge indicators. I mean, why would they? I mean, it's just too many things are. I mean, look at a loudspeaker in a stadium. Like, why is it always a cube? It's always above you. These aren't like things that are coincidences. These are principles of sound. Like, you don't put a loudspeaker under the ground in a stadium because you wouldn't hear anything. So,
To create a
I
mud
mean, the
flood.
moon, it's like a speaker box. Yeah, right. So it's this vibration. It can beam out some serious shit that melts our system. It's like this rod of like beach shadows. Like you can see
Yep. Take
the
a
vibrations
hold
that it's
on, you're
pushing,
breaking up like a
putting out.
robot.
It's what causes things to grow. Uh-oh.
No, you're good.
Here I'm gonna go out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. You were breaking
Am
up
I
for a
back?
minute. Yeah.
Am I back?
Yep,
Back.
you're good.
Yeah, I'm back. All right. I took it off the rock. Every time I pick it up, I better put it back on the rock.
Yeah, you know, it's
um,
it's crazy because I see the symbolism and stuff nowadays, but when you're sitting there, like, it's hard for me to believe that they had a Freemason sit down and be like, "I need you to design this credit card." Now,
right,
typically, it's going to be a 30-something who just got out of art school. They're a graphic designer for Citibank. You know, they're getting paid 60
right.
grand. Do they
But
know? Do they reckon?
they do.
Did
They
he
have to.
know? He know the symbolism, or were they just like, you know, here's our stuff. You know, I don't know. I don't. It's hard to believe
Not everything
because
gets chosen. Why does
true.
everything? Why it's so either there's this cosmic being that for some reason I can look at every logo and see all these deep coincidences and connects. It probably it wouldn't matter what the logo is. Oh, cool. I got a close up just now of that logo. Oh yeah. So the logo in the middle of the Citibank card, we've got the fixed cross right there. You've got it's got a windmill. It's got a frigging windmill for the cross, and it's got established 1812, the year of the New Madrid quakes and the reset.
Ugh.
It's got an eagle above the cross, so it's showing you probably the switch from the eagle to the
Mm,
scorpion.
mm,
And you've got you've got a Native American with a bow sitting on a looks like a bench, very nice actually a Tartarian front yard with a nice gate, and then you've got a patriot sitting on a wooden crate with a boat in the water. And the in the cross itself, you've got 2 barrels almost, and then 2 things that look like a snail almost, or some kind of like sea creature. It's kind of odd. Like I don't know. I can't really see it too well.
I'm gonna pull up
Um,
a better quality one I have. Hold on one sec.
yeah. There's. I really want to see what those logos are.
I just posted a fresh one.
But yeah, I don't think any of it's a coincidence. Every car logo, they all revolve around the sun, which would make
Yeah.
sense. Incarnate, right? And then Nate is a very big word and set of sounds in all this incarnation. So whoever we're coming from Nate. And then if you look, that's why I like Cincinnati as the original Babylon. And I think Cincinnati was sin. That is, and then Cincinnati. So Nate energy, Saint Nick. Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas comes down from the chimney, the chime. If you're chiming and chimney, knee is Capricorn connection there. That's a mountain coming down from the mountain. A goat. This would go back to the goat hoof god Pan. That's why Pan America. If you look at that, um, that's probably where it all first started happening. The pagans, the heathens, the pan worship, the pantheistic approach where God is in everything, um, which is a neat approach. I used to be like that, where I looked at everything as an equal representation of source energy.
Mm,
Um, I tend to look at things a little bit differently nowadays, where I don't I don't necessarily see I see I see God as the living God and the eternal God. And and that's one being. And so really, and what that is it's the eternal being experiencing things, because experiences are temporary. You kind of go through it and then it's over with and you can reflect on it.
right.
So I
You're
think
God
we are the
experiencing
light.
yourself.
Right. So we're the light in the mind as an offspring of the events that happen. So this is a mental, like we're in a repository of thoughts. And all the only things you can actually do here are the things that are possibility in the thought waves. So the air around us, the ether, it's pretty much, in a way, it's the missing teeth, right? So we've got, as soon as you add the teeth, you become an adult. When you don't have your grown-up teeth yet, or you're pretty much considered a child still in a lot of ways. But when you get your adult teeth, you start to go into adulthood and whatnot. When you get all your adult teeth in, so you pretty much got a grown-up situation when you learn to form the word versus just making sounds. So when you're just making sounds, like when you're talking about things like, I really hope so and so wins the game today. I mean, unless these are spiritual things for you, then they're not going to offer too much growth. And it's not always
Yeah.
about necessarily growing every moment of your waking existence. But um, people usually tend to use those pockets of energy as huge time sinks. They're not necessarily dedications to bringing forth life in any way. They're very much selfish, egotistical energy sinks that send energy off into this black hole that they're collecting this energy in through our fucking electronic and digitalization. They're trying to literally snap the analog out of this system and make us lose feeling, but it ain't gonna happen. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't. Did you ever find a closer up logo on that? Like,
The credit card? Yeah, I posted it in the
what is it? Barrels in there, and then let's see. Let me
delineation.
go up. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you got a nice clear one.
Yeah, it's
Trying to see. Is that a snail? Is that a snail in there? Like, what the hell is that? Which
where's
would be neat because snails have shells, right? And a snail would almost be like a representation of incarnating. Like the
I don't
shell would
see a
act as the
snail.
body, and the thing that, yeah, like the crab. That's what's important about crabs and why it's cancer. Cancer, the crabs go look for, they grow new bodies, and they get rid of their shell. So they throw away their shell. That's pretty much what we do here. We use these as bodies to grow our spirit, and then we drop the shell. We drop the body, and then we come back. We get a new body and a shell. We grow the spirit, and we drop the body. That's why cancer, the crab, sits up there. Um, and
Hmm.
that's why on the opposite side, you get what you're building eternally is the mountain. Capricorn is that, it's that mountain of real matter, the mound, the heaven, the heave inside. Um, the heave in, the mound system is very much, we all live on the bodies of our dead ancestors. So what we call land is very much just this heap, this heave inside. If we didn't have this heave, we wouldn't have life. We wouldn't be able to live the lie of Fe, of
Right.
iron. So, I mean, it just wouldn't be able to happen. So, we've got all this stuff pretty much inside the bowels, gut, minds, and a stomach, and the stomach. That's why you've got Mack trucks. They're the type of trucks that go around down here and deliver stuffs in in the stomach, where you store E, which is where the story is and the tail is, which is Why you got shows like Tailspin growing up. Remember that show, Tailspin?
I didn't watch it very
Tailspin
much,
is really,
honestly. I was a Nick kid,
here you.
Nickelodeon.
Tailspin's a Fibonacci spiral. So the fall, you don't fall in a straight line. You go up in a straight line as a mountain, as a T. That's why Masonic T starts with the father, the T. You go perpendicular to where you are. You go in the fucking opposite direction because it's not the correct way. You make the letter T. You do a 90-degree turn. Get out of it. Anyways,
Yeah,
that builds your mountain, and then you can start to attract in the spiritual energy from the cosmos around you because you've got a pillar, a mountain built.
yeah. You're
That's why
building a
Masonic,
pyramid. Yeah.
right? You're building these, yeah,
I have a great way of sort of explaining it, and I like to use it. Like if you think of like if you think of your reality as like a linear thing, because it kind of is.
yeah.
It's like trying to put the
It,
camera
it, it
right.
is it is very
So,
much.
this is
Go
your
ahead.
life, right? So you're starting here, and I'm doing this on the camera, so there might be a little delay on the stream, but um,
You sound good here.
you're gonna have your frequencies, so like today I did this, today I did that, today I did this, and this sort of builds like this is what I think the big secret of whatever masonry is just like all they do is they're building pyramids, right?
Yeah.
And obviously you're going to build them this way too. So for instance, when you're doing the work, this is the work to get to get your result really. Higher power, pyramid. Um,
Right.
and
You're
then
building your city, so yeah.
yeah, and then
All your
this is
work
your
you do
Tesla
here.
stuff too. Your what was it energy, frequency, and vibration, right? That's everything. So like
Right.
once you start thinking this way, like it just like explain and then you start applying it to the mystery school stuff, this astrology, the
Yeah.
Ayurveda, all this stuff. It's like okay, then like you can start seeing why it's useful. So like this isn't like crazy stuff that you need to spend lots of money and lots of time on. You just need to start understanding
No.
how it works, and then it starts being useful in your life. I think. Um,
Yeah. The usefulness that you get out of all this to me is an inner vision. So
yeah,
my the rebirth, what that rebirth really is it's you go through this death where the things you used to see disappear. So you no longer see um, the physical sense portion of something. Because now you understand that that portion that you used to think was the whole entire object is just really the tip of the iceberg, and it's floating on this much bigger pillar that's holding it up, that's unseen. So it's almost like you come to know this very much unseen realm, which is where everything is. I mean, you can only see like 10% of the visible spectrum. I
yeah,
mean, a tiny percent of all light is visible to you, which tells us if we're light, we're missing 90% of the perspective or the picture. You're missing 90% of the picture. When energy transfers down, you lose 10% and you keep your density, so you gain the 90. Going the opposite way, if you're I just said going up is a straight line, you were only on the 10%. That's why the expression give it 110%. That's
yep.
pretty much an 11 right there. That creates a pipeline straight up. um, 110 is that extra 10%, really that extra 20% beyond yourself, because you're a 90% being.
It's your
So
plus ultra. Yep.
I mean, straight up, straight up now, tell me, is it gonna be me and you forever? I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I mean, that's how it is, straight up. It's straight up. There's no looking back. No
Right.
luminescence, kin, child of light. No, none of that. No Lukin back. No. Know. K now. No. Know it.
I like
Know who's in your back. Know the child of light in your back. Know the looking, the Lu King. Not the Peking in China,
okay.
the Lu King. Yeah, this is how, you got to know where to look. And it's not in front. You gotta. That's why 2020 was such a huge year. 20
Yep.
hindsight's 2020.
It's all about
Looking back,
vision. Yeah.
looking back on it all. Look, when you look back, you can see it all. See the letter C. See the ocean sea. You have it all. I mean, it's intuition is Neptune with his trident in the middle of the sea with the pitchfork, spiking it down to the bottom of the ocean, grounding into the bottom of the ocean, and he's got this pool.
Hmm. What kind of pool? Uh-oh, you disconnected or something. Well, need to get Barry back online. I think we got unless my internet cut out, which it doesn't seem to be the case. We are not able to hear you. Um, well, bear with us here. Try to get Barry's sound working again. Bro, your sound's broke. It says he's talking. Well, I'm gonna fill out a couple little notes here. Um, so, if you guys aren't familiar with this Tesla famous quote, energy, frequency, vibration.
Me now.
There you go, bro. He was also
All right,
famous for the Plus Ultra Club. Plus Ultra is also
there
a
we go.
really big part of the My Hero Academia, which is a anime. It's a huge part of it. The the hero essentially uses that as the motivational slogan for the show. Plus Ultra, go above 100%, go to 110. Well, go above
Yeah,
100% and then go as high as you can go. And the concept is it's limitless, so you
that's
can
where life
be.
starts. I mean, 110%, like we said, that's an 11. And then if you look at that, where's the 11th sign? That's Aquarius. That's the grand man with the pitcher of water. He's got a picture of it. I mean, there's only on the cross that they show with the man, the lion, the bull, and the eagle, that fixed cross, that fixed air, that fixed earth, that fixed fire, then that fixed water, which is now Scorpio instead of the eagle. This is the fixed cross, this is the will. Or will broken up into duality, you either get will or you get desire. So you get the lack of will is desire. When you have no will, you let your desires run you. So anything that comes in is for fair game. I feel like eating a cheeseburger. Boom, cheeseburger's getting eaten. I kind of feel like masturbating now. Boom, gone. It's like this system that just depletes you of your life essence, the desire system will.
uh,
Now, the opposite side, the willpower, you can still do, you can eat cheeseburgers and have sex, but be using the willpower system. And it's totally different how everything flows, gets built, the type of being that you resonate as. I mean, it's just your thoughts are very, very big in how they're forming things. I mean, they're tools, it's a field you're molding. So you can turn anything into anything. You can make good things bad, bad things good. It's very manipulative. It's all up to you.
I have a
You are the
saying for
one that
that kind of. I call it
yeah.
good habits are not bad habits, and it sounds
No, not
goofy,
at all.
but the
I
point
turn
is
like
there's a huge distinction. That's the
there
point.
is, yeah. There really is.
That kind of goes with what we were talking about last week. With I was talking about the tea or the water only for a month, and how I literally disabled all restraints and just like turned right in to go get a tea.
Yep.
Like your
Yep.
desires literally will cancel out any logic you have, or
They will.
any if you
I've
let
actually
them.
been having a rough run with like things like that. I went years without even having like a soda or nothing. I just didn't even really care to put that in my body. And then even when I would drink it, it felt so like battery acid, like it was just gonna eat through all this stuff inside me that I took a really long time to build. Um, so and
Well,
I
it'll
kind of
destroy
stay
your
away from
teeth
it.
for sure.
Yeah. So, but lately, man, I've been on like nothing can hurt me mode and just fucking doing whatever, which is dangerous because some of my desires are coming out.
I feel you.
And I don't struggle with things like gaining weight and shit like that. So I could literally eat and drink as much as I wanted, and I wouldn't see it in my body. I would probably see it in my teeth rotting out and my innards turning really bad, I suppose, but I don't get the warning signs like a lot of other people get. Like some people they eat 2 extra bites of cheesecake out of schedule and they get like 8 pounds or something. Like it's just
Yeah.
I'm a Saturn being.
It must
I
be
do
an
not.
energy thing though, at that
Oh, it
level
is.
because,
Oh, it
I don't
is.
know. I
Yeah.
always wonder about that kind of stuff because people, oh, whatever I do, I gain weight. It's like, yeah, but you're probably not doing that thing that you're supposed to be doing, and you're probably doing something that's repeatedly not helping.
Right. I mean, look at the word thin and then look at the word thinking. So that's where I made the connection. And I know that if you've listened to these shows right now, you can tell there's something incredibly going inside of me with my energy that is this all consuming eating thing that just eats up all this damn data around it and it loves it and it can't get enough of it. And it's like this I'm a generator on that human design thing. It says I'm a pure generator, whatever the hell that means. But all I know is I've got this machine inside of me that is unstoppable. So if I line it up with the proper willpower, if I put that energy in the proper areas it's supposed to be directed towards, then I can create something pretty cool. Like I got a pretty good chance at giving something a good run, doing some good things for this system. If I also could do some really huge damage if I put that power in a different location,
Yeah,
which I easily have the ability of with a Pluto ascendant, a Saturn ascendant, and pretty much depending tropically or sidereally, I'm either Scorpio or Libra rising. So I either have Saturn exalted, I'm doing the most perfect aspect of organization and the aspect of the father and Saturn and the logos that I can, or I'm doing some deep and dark shit with all this knowledge that I've accumulated and I'm using it in not so wise ways, but you don't get far on that route because like I said,
right.
intention will cut you off in the beginning. If you
Yeah,
have shitty intention, if I'm going to learn all this to go take advantage of people, I'm going to not be getting pure information streaming in. I'm going to be
yeah,
getting stuff that's coming backwards. So it's clockwork. It's not anti-clockwork. You've got to look at nature. You've got to align your patterns and your system. If you want to have the most heightened technology and be connected to the all, you got to do what the trees are doing, the birds and the ant. You got to do what everything around you is doing. I mean, the starlings and the swallow, these birds don't stick together and move on a dime in the air because they're all thinking about different shit. They're all connected and thinking about the same exact pinpoint focused thing. I mean, that's pretty neat.
right.
Um, to get a bunch of humans to do that, like it doesn't typically work. Even when you get little attempts at it, like a flash mob dance, you get like some pre-designed thing of some people that have been practicing probably this dance and they're going to go pull it off at this time and location in this area. It's still got elements of design.
Mm.
When a set of swallows or
It happens
starlings,
naturally though, man. Like I've seen there's
yeah,
videos you
it
can
can.
watch. I've done it.
What?
I'm gonna be honest with you. There was a
Go ahead.
specific time in New York City. I was with my brother, and we were out just trying to find a good time, right? And we went to some whack
Right.
ass club, and nobody was dancing, and the DJ like sucked. Like he was terrible. Like he finally played like
Yeah.
a good song. Nobody's dancing. Literally nobody. Well, like me
Yeah.
and my brother are the type of people that will start stuff. So like we literally just went out there and just started dancing because the guy finally played a good song. Literally within 30 seconds, 45 seconds tops, the entire dance floor came out with us. Like everybody just started dancing
Mhm.
then, and it was like,
That's awesome.
yeah,
I
it's
love that
so
shit.
cool. Yeah,
I love that stuff.
it's very like real, you know what I mean? Like it's not and then like literally after that he played like some terrible song and like we just both stopped dancing and like everybody stopped dancing because the song was terrible. But like it's just like you have to,
That's
like go for it sometimes because uh, depending on what type of person you are, what type of being you are, and I think this is something about me, and we can talk about the human stuff, human design stuff, because I think it leads into
Yeah,
that. But like when I do stuff like that, like that's all my life. Like I'll go somewhere. I'll go to like an empty restaurant on like a Tuesday at like at like 2:30, which is not any time, right? Like it's not a regular eating time. I'll be the only guy
right.
there, and then within 3 minutes, the whole place will be packed. Like that happens to me all the time. It's super bizarre.
That's neat.
And I
Yeah, man.
wonder if it
The
has
universe
anything.
is using you. It's using you as a
Yeah,
funnel. You've
yeah.
definitely got some kind of something in there that needs to be fed, to the people. It's like real food.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, it's like
I've
an
noticed
energy that
weird,
I bring in
similar
there.
things like that too. Like, I'll show up and to these places, and I don't know ever. I follow the now, what's in my now, so I'll easily be going somewhere and I'll take a left or a right because I just got told, hey, let's go here or there, and then yeah, you meet somebody, you end up helping somebody out, and it's neat because you don't see the ripples that you leave behind all the time. So you really have this world that you can't see, and it's from all the ripples that you've created. And you're going to get to see that when you go to the other side, or I guess when you go, like, whatever the afterlife is. And it's going to be beautiful I guess it could be devastating to see if you caused a lot of crappy ripples. But
Yeah.
I mean, to see how much you can affect is pretty powerful. So, um, I mean, I look at something like I like to feed birds. So every day I try to fill up the bird feeders, and I just like watching them eat food, and it's just a nice simple activity where I can learn little things about birds, pretty much.
Yeah.
um, and it's just pure pleasure and enjoyment. But I know that somewhere in some sphere that it's causing all this change, and there's these ripples of energy all through the forest and even from beyond here because birds migrate seasonally. So, I mean, I just had a big group of starlings leave because the grackles came back and the grackles kicked the starlings out. So I know that wherever those starlings went, I fed them for like 4 months and pretty much gave them probably diabetes. They're these big flying around watermelons now. If you see them, say hi for me.
Sure.
But yeah, that, like, I mean, somewhere my choices caused this thing to be different,
Yeah.
over here. And I think that's really cool. I think that phenomena in itself is the aspect of creation that we're all kind of always looking for. And I think we get shown that upon departure. And I think that is what gives you life over there, is how much life you gave here. So
Mm.
over there, you get what you give. So if you gave a lot, if you were a big giver, if you caused a bunch of beings down here to feel good and to come to more comfort and to more joy in their lives, and you opened up more self identity for them and helped them know things about their own selves, then hopefully the return energy that you get is pleasant and enjoyable. Where if you cause if that's why I try to be very careful with my words. Sometimes I do, sometimes I'm very much, I'll say anything and it won't matter, and it's on purpose. Sometimes it's almost even where if you get triggered, it's there on purpose, because if you're getting triggered, you have something deep to learn, and we're going to take a look at that. And um, if you don't get triggered and you can stay lighthearted and keep it humorous, you're learning to be an alchemist. You're learning to take things and to transmute them. So somebody comes up and calls you all these names, and you start getting affected by it, because you start to reflect on portions of your own life that might be true and might be the reason why you're getting called these names, and you start to identify with this. Then right away, you're getting affected by somebody else's alchemy and energetic manipulation. They're trying to change your inner being to see things a different way from their inner being, which might not even be the way they really see it. They just want to cause damage. And then you're making the mistake by letting something exterior change your interior, which then changes the exterior, because the exterior manifests from the interior. So if you want to change anything out here, we've talked about that, you've got to do it internally. And internally has the word earn in it. And that's why you're here, to earn it. And that's why an urn holds ash. So, and that's why you get cremated. Cree is the Christ. You ate the oil and you mated, cremated. You mated with the Christ oil. So that Christ consciousness, you pretty much got put into the positive forces of the air and the fire and the spirit, the breath. Christ said that you are the branch and I am the vine. So the vine climbs the branch. If you look at it, and how does a vine climb a branch? A vine doesn't just go straight up a branch. That's poison ivy. It yeah, divine. Yeah, that's neat.
It's funny. My
But it
name means ivy.
it spirals. Yeah, and
Todd
the
actually
oldest
means
mythology
ivy for
on
some
Earth
reason.
is the Vainamoan mythology, or the Vainamoan mythology. The old, it's got the word vine in it. If you look at, I guess that's at least what the says. So,
It's funny.
yeah, it's a story about the oils rising, twirling up that Kundalini energy, which the Box Saga, on a literal interpretation, portrays as eating the sexual fluids. So the only way to get your sexual fluids from your sacrum up the spine is not through inner work, through rising them up through the chakras, through some kind of thermometer rise. It's through bringing it on the outside and putting it back to the inside and encircling it through your gut mind, which is neat. Um, very interesting and something to think about, but it's
Yeah.
very material. It's very heathen, pagan, pantheistic material, like physical, one very tiny dimension, small minded, like a perfect set for here, but it doesn't incorporate the all very well in my book. Like it's not going to encompass. You need to come up with ethical, moral intent and reasons to why you're doing that act, and then that is going to be the true spiritual rising of the oils, because you don't want to just raise the physical up and down. That would be a pendulum swinging side to side. You want to raise things side to side here, do things with your skills and your work and your hands, and earn it with your left and your right, with your male and your female, with your inner and your outer, with your up and your down. Just you want to use duality as a tool to create your monality, your universe, your one song, your one verse, because you only sing one song when you leave here. And then in order to sing a song, you need to have a verse. Verses are filled with beautiful words that flow together, I guess, poetically, with some rhyme and attachment, with meaning and artsy. And that's why you come to the heart. You come get the he art. He's just a musician playing his music in the sun, right? Just like the Steve Miller song there.
Nice.
Yep. A lot of coffee.
um, hey, you
Yeah,
want to
man.
talk a little bit about this human design system thing?
Let's do it. Yeah, we're getting hour 48 minutes in or so, or
Yeah.
hour 38. Yeah, let's get into some of that. Just start us off there.
Well, I found this because of you. Um,
That's
you sent it
true.
to
I
me, so
found
I
it.
looked it up.
I found it because of a guy named Nathan sent it to me.
All right.
My partner, Amy, she showed it to me a little bit before. I guess I didn't really listen to her too much or look at it
It's
until
very
some.
interesting the more I learned about it.
There,
It
there.
takes the sort of the bioastrology. It really kind of sums it up. So let's see. I'm gonna read about mine, what I
Okay.
got a little bit, and
Yep.
then we can talk about it, and
Yep.
I'll pull up yours as well. So for
Cool, man. That
me,
sounds great.
you use your astrology, and we can we'll put a link somewhere that you if you find just Google human
Yeah.
design quantum human design system. There's a couple of chart makers. You can find these out. You just put in your birth date. It helps if you know your time of birth.
Your time.
um
Yeah.
so mine, I ended up being what they call a manifesting generator. The one chart calls that a time bender. um
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know
neat.
what I basically got from manifesting generators. It's so funny, right? Because I watch a bunch of videos. One video is like,
Yeah.
manifesting generators, they're the most powerful beings. And then the one video, they're like, manifesting generators are just generators with manifesting powers.
Oh my God, that's
um,
great. Yep.
but
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot out
yeah,
there on it. I've noticed too. I've noticed people attach themselves to that design system, and they kind of do their own work and videos and
yeah.
contribute to the overall what this and that is.
Mm,
Um, so you've got some different people putting out different videos, like, and you just hit on that big time. Yeah, so you kind of you
Yeah.
do get some different contradicting things sometimes on it for sure, which is why doing your own work is very important. um
Exactly. So
yeah.
I did look into mine a little more because there's a couple. So I put up one. The one has so you have different channels. So each you can see there's different shapes. I'll pull up an image then too that kind of shows a little bit about the shapes a little. And
Yep.
then you're gonna have your channels that are I assume it's the different energies. I think the black is subconscious and then the red is conscious.
Yep.
And then these all give you different
Different
names,
attributes, and yeah.
attributes. Yeah. So I've got one. I had to look it up because I was like, "What does perfected form mean?" That sounds pretty
Yeah,
nuts.
right. I know. I saw
Um,
that. I was like, shit,
yeah,
you're
right.
already there, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I was like, well, then
All we need is Todd's chart, and we can just follow this.
hey, man, if
It's
everybody
awesome.
had my knowledge, we would be in a different world instantly. So, you know, but like, so I looked up that one because it took a little bit to find some info on that. But it basically, it has you. I have an ability to love self,
Uh
and
huh.
you have it's a creative attribute, and one of the things is like you love being alone, but you also love radiating. So like I have no problem being, and this is totally true about me. Like I have no problem sitting at
Yeah.
home. I mean, these days it gets pretty boring because that's all everyone's doing. But for the
Yeah.
most part, I can do that fine. But I also can be with a group of people and have a great time. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Um,
That is cool.
it says I can be very selfish, which is true, but it's like not like a bad selfish.
Right. Right.
And then,
A protective, like a preservation.
yeah, like a very sustainable type of person, a lot of flow. And then I guess
Mhm.
this specific area also refers to the spleen. So
Um,
I'm not an expert on the spleen, but
I'm
yeah.
pretty good with the spleens. That's pretty neat.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
The
So,
spleen is a real quick. The spleen is responsible for um what the spleen keeps inside of it is all the perfected and the best, strongest blood cells. So your white blood cells, your
oh,
badass,
okay,
healthy red blood cells. Um, this is a like a health center, like your health node for your whole blood system. So your spleen, when you get sick, it's the regulator. It sends out the badass fucking warriors to go check out what's going on in quadrant fucking whatever over here. And it
right,
goes over and it's pretty much like, hey, I don't know what's going on over here, but we've got instructions from the boss over here in the spleen. You only got one spleen, so right away the blood, the spleen, this blood purizations. It's the filter of the blood in a way. Like not the filter, but like the purifier of the blood in a way. Like it restores it to its original qualities. It's Aquarius. So in the Chinese astrology, the spleen is ruled by Aquarius. So, and that's supposed to be the age we're going into. So, the judgment day coming up is going to be where the humans, we represent the blood. The creator coming through all the humans represents all the different blood in the actual. And so the age of the spleen coming up, it's showing us that this age, the organ part of the age is going to be focused on the spleen. We're going to be getting the blood pure, and all the blood keeps in it the memory. Inside Aquarius, you've got the constellation Pegasus, which is tied to long-term memory. Long-term memory is where everything's kept. That's the library. Pegasus is the horse that kicked off the top of Mount Helicon, and all the universe flowed out of that. So there's been this crustacean taking over all the knowledge, and we got rid of all the real knowledge. Well, here comes Pegasus. Here comes to Pegasus to kick the top of the mountain off with his hoof. And Mount Heli, that's hell is here. We're in hell. Hell is it's a good term. You help somebody, you heal. You fucking hell is a healthy. I mean, these are all hell is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So
are you
hell is
familiar with
very
hell in the Norse story?
yeah, yep, yep.
Hmm.
So Helsinki, Finland, it's a big focal point and center. And then really all the mythologies of the North are really the pagan root mythologies, and these are all going to tie to the hell heathen pagan system, which is going to be that pantheistic, the creator in the all aspect. And then see now the I never told people back then when I got into that, but the difference you want to see here, the move that brings you beyond pantheism is knowing that th- there's more than the creator is everything. So you've only got one part of the story explained with a pantheistic thought. Now, if the creator is everything and you're pantheistic, you haven't talked about what the creator's actually doing and how it's moving and expressing itself, which is really the most important part. This fork, I can eat some macaroni with it. I can eat a carrot with it. I can go out, scrape some dirt with it in the ground, plant some seeds in my vegetables. I can stab somebody with it and kill somebody probably. I mean, the fork is a
Weaponize it.
tool. Yeah, you can weaponize your tool. So I mean, that's exactly what this is all is going on here. Um, but yeah, man, go get back to the generator or
Yeah.
the manifesting
Well,
generator, brother.
let's talk about yours. You're a generator, pure
Yeah,
generator.
yep, pure generator. I tried to find, I don't, the word pure in front of it, I'm not 100% sure. I didn't
Yeah.
really find too much what that was tying into because it said most people are generators.
Hmm.
And then you're a manifesting generator, and mine says pure generator. So
Well,
I
one
guess
says pure, one doesn't.
okay,
The purity, from
okay,
what I was told, has to do with the channel. So how far the
okay.
channel goes, or if the channel doesn't
Ooh,
go all the way. I
ooh,
don't
okay.
know. I
That's
didn't put
cool.
a lot of investment into that. I just kind of kept going.
Yeah, I hear you.
But
I kind of looked too, and what I found out, I did like a lot. I really like the fact that it takes your astrological angles and positions around the circle of your planetary bodies and the constellations, and it ties them all to a certain formula per se.
mhm,
Now, it's not a static sitting by itself formula. How they build, I think, one of the sides, the personality, is they take the prior 88 days to birth and they run that time and they see, and if you look at what they're doing there, 88 days is one whole Mercury revolution around the zodiac or around the sun. And that's telling me right there that they're tying the personality to Mercury. So the body of Mercury, 88 days before you pop out of your mom, you're pretty much forming your personality. So what they're telling us here is that this body or this sheath is being built, and the 88 days before you come out, it's your final personality selfhood body that you're donning. So mine came up pretty neat. I am
yeah.
actually quite the demon, it turns out, I think. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. If you look at the word demon, it's damoon. If you look at devil, it's devil, like the wheel. So I live near a place called Louisville. So Lou is luminescence, light is home. Ville is home. Ville is a house. So I'm in the house of light right here, which is the house of the devil, probably the wheel, probably in the center of the wheel. There's probably some etheric axis that pops up right where we're at. I think it's at the crest of the wood where you get this physical rise in the land. It starts way out here in the flat plains. This is where the bumps start. And then the
Mm,
river, if you notice the Ohio River, it doesn't go south. It has to go around all those bumps. So it goes east to west until it gets to Crestwood, where the wood stops, and or really where the wood starts, and it goes east. So if you look at that, that's where the magnetism has sex and it starts making bumps pop up out of the earth, which give you rise. These were all the islands on the old maps of America that you looked at. These were the only areas of land.
mm,
This was what they call Avalon. This was some kingdom with little castles and Tartaria, beautiful buildings. It was all connected, and we were one universal consciousness. It must have been beautiful. And then we got all
yeah.
this crap They turned whatever the beautiful place of pre-Cincinnati was into Cincinnati. You know, they had all the world fairs to give one last hoorah to the old system, and they called it theirs. And then they said they've been just built all that for the expos, and they rip it all down, all this beautiful
Yeah.
architecture that we can't replicate now. So it's almost like it was one last hoorah, and this is the last you're going to see of the old world, and then we're going to destroy it for the new digital circuitry we're putting in, and they're going to change it from digital to analog. The analog was beautiful, all these beautiful ornate expressions. And so anyways, back to the human design system. Mine's
Yeah.
got a very it's got a couple, two or three down arrows on the personality side, which is like debilitated, which tells me I'm very good with sense data, and you can see it in me.
Is that the
I'm
black
very
side?
good I'm very good at interpreting sense data. So the whole world that we're in, this Lucifer world of sight, of sense, I'm very good in it, and I can see right through it.
Nice.
And it's almost my job to expose it a little bit to help those around. I've sold my soul to the devil, and I can see I must have somewhere, and I come from the high sides of that demonistic devil realm, which is neat. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's an area of going through deep, dark battles and fights and coming through pure, and
Yeah.
letting you pretty much get stripped away of everything until you get down to your core, and you're like, nope, you can't get through that. Fear can't touch that anymore. It's why I've lost all fear. I don't have fear anymore, and I've
Yeah.
come to the system of the lie and the fe, the fear, and the iron,
Have
the
you read any?
life.
You read
Go
William
ahead.
Blake at all?
A little bit, like
Yeah.
sections of William Blake.
Yeah, he talks about
Um,
demons in a much different way. Like, and that's from the 1800s. So, back
yeah,
then they didn't think of
I,
demons as like these scary gremlin things. They were just it was more of a different way of um I would argue it was just being more assertive in your life. Like that's what the way I kind of
yeah.
interpreted. It's more
I look
you're
at it
willing
as
to
holding
things.
power.
Yes,
Like
yeah, exactly.
a demon, the moon, or the wheel. When you have that force, you have a magnetic force. A wheel is a spin, S pin. It pins something down into a body. When you have a body, you can pull in more magnetism. You can build your body bigger. When you build your body bigger and bigger and bigger, you can see farther. You're a seafarer. You can see really far, and you get fur, you get hair, because you're pretty much starting to pull in deep magnetism. Your hair shows you your type of magnetism in your body, your wavy hair, your straight hair, your super curly hair. It shows you how your magnets, your electricity attaches to you and manifests. So if you have super curly hair pinging off your head, that's the type of energy, and that's the type of node or rod that you are. And if you have really straight hair, you're that type of being. Think of things around you they're kind of scared of you. You're a deep authority figure. You have very straight masculine lines. You're pinpointed. You're this deep point of density that is fucking stout. And you just cause this straightness to ping around you and crystallize nice and straight out like a, I don't know, like a cube in crystallization, moon salt, hex
Selenite.
building, crazy male system. And then you've got this beautiful, curvy, flowy, loose, female, soft, you know, watery. I mean,
Yeah,
well, actually, it would
liquid.
probably be the spirit, would be the fiery, airy, bendy, like Luffy, not down in the earth, grounded and focused and metal and
Yeah.
can't pull in this Thor electric bolt and focus this energy into form, and have teeth and porcelain, and have all this sense data to pull in all this imagery, and to connect all these images into concepts, and to have these basic concepts from all this imagery to figure out the core data of all the structure of the imagery, and then to know thyself through the image that you've been created with, and to get right down into pixelization. And then you get into things like what you're doing with art, to just get right down into deep concepts of image and pixel and color and hue and sound and light. That's what it's
Yeah.
all about,
Well,
folks.
for me, it's funny because I don't. I make art, right? But like, I don't have an art. I have art in mind. It's just I don't see. I have a hard time like stopping in my mind. So like I can't like a lot of most artists, most people, they sit and draw something. They're like, I'm gonna draw this, I'm gonna draw that. I have a hard time with that because while I can visualize a character or something just sitting there, that character moves, breathes, has tons of stuff. So for me, creating art, it's like that's why it's quite intense art, I guess you could say. At least that's what a lot of people tell me. It's very
For real.
interesting. And yeah, I mean, everything you're talking about is pixelated the book. That really
Yep. I love
sums
it.
it up.
I got it right here. Yep. I even got the sticker for my little girl's water bottle, man. Carry
Word.
you around everywhere, sir.
Yeah, man. I'm
Yep.
gonna do another book to close that portal, but I haven't started it yet. But
That's
um,
cool. Well, you did some this week. You said you drew four. You got four pieces done.
oh yeah, you want to see? I'll put them on the stream.
Let's do it, man.
Give me one sec. I'll be right back.
You're good. All right, and I guess for all the people still here, we're coming up on 2 hours, so yeah, we're probably gonna be wrapping this here soon. I don't think we. I left out things on my side I still wanted to get into. Let's see. We didn't do any tarot today. We didn't do any chart reading.
Oh
So we
yeah, we
do
could
have
do
a
some
lot
tarot.
of we do in the future. I mean, I'm really hoping with you, we're going to break down. I'm going to try to give people a lot of astrology tools. I mean, just some really basic concepts. Because once you get the basic tools, like what is Venus, what is Mercury, what is the cardinal cross, what is the fixed, what is the mutable, what is fire, earth, water, what is north, south, east, west, what is up, down, what is in, out. I mean, all these things are basic concepts, basic placeholders for meaning, and you can see them all around you. When you look at a tree and you see green moss, you're looking at north. I mean, it's manifest moss is a manifestation of the north. It grows on the north side of all things.
I have some
Um,
moss. I brought it inside for the
my
winter.
last name is Morse.
No way.
I mean, my name is Peter Morse, and then check this out. If you went to go buy beautiful stuff to grow your garden that gives life in your garden, you're gonna go get peat moss. Yeah, peat
Yeah.
moss, Peter Morse. I mean, come on, that's a little too close there.
Yeah. Well,
So moss grows on the north side. I was born in the north. I was born in New Hampshire, so up in New England, up in I guess a fairly northern aspect, 45 on the knife edge. I was born at 40, pretty much 44 and a half degrees. On That's why my consciousness is the way it is. I'm sure
hmm
most people with certain aspects, springtime babies born in the evening in New Hampshire, in New England during the early 80s, I guarantee you have very fast consciousness. They have knife edge razor consciousness from Saturn sitting through part of its 30-year journey in Libra, going badass form, cardinal air into all these beautiful little northern babies on the knife edge up there that it rules at its 45s.
right.
And yeah, man. But that's all I got on mod. Let's pull up some tarot. Oh, is this your
Yes.
picture? Oh, okay. Let me pull that up on my screen. My
Oh
Amy is
yeah.
showing me a picture. I gotta see that.
Oh yeah. I'm
Is that on the
zooming.
live stream? Let me see.
Yep. I'm putting on the stream. I'm gonna grab a deck. I was thinking of
Okay.
doing the Mayan tarot maybe. Just pull a card from there.
Mayan tarot sounds cool. All right,
Uh,
I'm actually gonna be watching
or I
on.
can
Do you
bring
have it up over there?
runes.
Let's
Uh,
see. Whatever you do, put it in the divinatory delineation so I can see the picture of it.
sure. Yeah,
Because
well,
for some reason, I just can't see the stream. I don't know why.
that's all good. I'm
I
just
just
put it's a drawing. Oh yeah, I don't know if I have a picture I can
It's
send.
beautiful though. I was looking at it, and did you draw that while we were talking and stuff? Oh,
I've
that's what you
been,
did this week. That's
that's
why
what
I
I've been
didn't
working
see
on
it.
this
My bad.
week. Um,
Oh, I want to go see.
so
Snap a little screen or chuck it in the divinatory delineation. I guess if you got it.
yeah, give me one.
But yeah, we can do. We'll end here. We'll do a little tarot. The intention that we can put into this tarot, we can use today as the bridge. We can bridge together the last week since our last first start, and then we can bridge this week coming up. We can put this tarot as the what's going on right now around us. What should we see in these times of germination, where our literally each year we go through this like this seed process. We're down here making and forming this seed each year. Each year you put another layer of magnetism on it. So what kind of magnetism, what kind of desires and feel, it is important to desire and to feel. So I mean, you can't just conquer desire and not touch desire. Desire is part of the fixed nature. It's part of the thing, the glue that holds the entire everything together. So desire equals a dualistic access of will and desire. That is one system right there. So desire is your foundation to will. So what are your new cravings? Do you have high intentions with your cravings this year? Do you crave new parts of your Fibonacci spiral upwards, or are you kind of working off, getting some dead weight off? Like what card should we see here? All the people listening that even decided to tune in up to this point, just give us something that we can kind of look at and get some kind of message out of here.
Uh,
12:11, another
nice.
11. Drops in at 12 on the clock. What drops in at 11? What do you got for us? Oh, there's your picture, man. That's awesome. That's mine in itself.
Thanks,
I see
man.
a deep, I see a deep Mayan. Look at all those eyes. That's awesome, man. All right,
Yeah,
yeah. Let's look at this real quick, and then we'll do the tarot. So
sure.
right at the center, if you look, the center, you've almost got a cross. I can see a cross forming, and the center is a mouth. And the beginning was the word. The word caused all of these eyes. How do the eyes come out? The eyes come out in a 90-degree angle because you've got all these eyes going in perpendicular, up or down, or east and west to the center mouth. Pretty much. You don't have a very much shotgun spread of the diagonals being hit. A little bit on the bottom right quadrant, which is neat, a little bit in the upper right, but the two ones on the left are it's a nice cross, a nice split. You got the one big one down in your second house pretty much, but mainly we've got a cross of eyes that come from the word. So if in the beginning was the word, that shows you in the beginning this word created all these eyes. The and look at the teeth, dude. You've got
I know. That's what I
right
was
below
saying with
that,
your teeth.
yeah, you've got crazy teeth all over this thing, and you just drew this week, and I was thinking about teeth all week, man. So that's really, really insane. And what's getting eaten? You've got eyes getting eaten. So watch what you eat, right?
Eyes are
Watch
like
what you
thought
eat. Look at this
forms.
connection of all this. You've got watch what you eat all over the place in here. You've got eyes in the mouth. Watch what you eat. Watching is the eyeball, eating is the mouth, and you're eating the word. That's what we should be eating. We should be eating the word, and the word, you know. And you look at what is the word? You've got a crossed out eyeball down below, and that big one in the quad. It's the word is not the image. The word is probably the internal sound. What is the image causes the image gets you to the pure concepts inside you that are unseen. The real pure concepts are these eternal placeholders are these unseen eternal placeholders. All of these things that are down here are aspects of the eternal form that is pure. So
Nice.
yeah, man. So
That's
it's showing
cool.
you all these eyes are just, and look at that. Those are all polarity. What does an eyeball have? It has a big black circle in the center.
Right.
I mean, that's a pole. That's a pole. That
The
is a pole,
pupil.
folks. All See all those little lines around the eyeball that are the color, the hue? That's the silver that's pulling in from the outsides. That's you're attracting in your color. So that polarity
Hmm.
eyeball is your magnetism signature. It's your gold. It's the rod, the pole, the metal. It's the metal. And then what kind of metal are you making? So it's pulling in the silver. You're pulling in the sliver. You're pulling in the edges that's going to give you your hue. It's either going to be making iron. You're pulling in that dense lead, or you can make the lead to gold. You can pull in that platinum, that plutonium, that very high resonating, very super fast frequencies, or that real low base lead. And that's why something like lead walls, lead paint in the walls would block out super high frequencies of blast, like a Carrington event, and it would protect
Mm,
everything inside your house. These lead walls, this lead paint.
yeah.
So lead paint would be the easiest way to put protection on a thing.
Yeah.
Right now, if you look at the images from the weapons that they use nowadays, you've
Hmm.
got wood, you've got all the structures melted, and then you've got all this wood still standing. So a
Yeah.
log cabin would be a very protective thing right now because their weapons, they don't seem to heat up and melt wood. It's
Hmm.
almost like they use this vibration machine, which is probably our fake moon thing.
Yep.
It's this like laser beam thing, and then they just use that. I bet a lot of these fires and events, they happen during probably full moon events when they can build up this superpower system. And we're probably in this fucking like that Citibank card. It's this silver cube loudspeaker melting shit with its crappy word. It's not even a word, it's just sound because it's missing its teeth and it can't even sing. It shouldn't be miss sing. It should be miss shit, which is, I don't, miss bitch. She bit the sugar. She ain't got no teeth. She lost all her teeth because she bit the sugar. That's why they get you a Bitcoin. I mean, and you bite a coin, it's gold. That's
You
or silver.
know,
It's real metal.
what's interesting about the moon stuff is it makes so much sense when you start understanding that reality because when I look at it, I'm like, well, that explains those huge telescopes. Like, they're probably looking at the freaking moon right away and being like,
Oh,
seeing
they are. How,
what's
that's how you
going
get
on in
close
the
on the
other.
map.
Yeah, like, I
Dude,
mean, that
how would
makes
you see details of land on the map? You would get a super telescope to look at the moon to
exactly
get
with
details of our
Mercury.
world.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it makes so much
those
sense
fuckers.
with that reality.
Lucifer. That was the name of their giant telescope, Lucifer. They could see real far with that thing. They could zoom in on the moon real close and see the little details of the mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall. What do we see up there? Can you see the pyramid on the moon? That's a great question. Can you see, is there an electromagnetic signature from the pyramid on the moon? They say you can see the pyramids from space. That, so wouldn't that mean the image of the moon sitting up there in space? Can't you see it in space? Wouldn't that explain it
Yeah.
all? And then what about the moon being cheese? That's a neat thing, right? Cheese moon, it's got holes in it. So it's kind of like our land system. If you look at, the plume systems they show for our maps where it's built on like volcanic
Yeah.
plumes of sediment and all these like buildups of land is really like this outward push pressure of this bubble sulfuric gas system that's floating on all this water. So you've got holes, and that's what the moon is showing on its image when you look up there. The fact that the electromagnetism beams and reflects a certain way, it shows you what it goes right through and it shows you what it doesn't go through. And that's probably what they're zooming in on. They're looking at the deep plumes. I bet those deep images of plume maps are from the moon. I bet they zoom in on the moon and they get those maps and then they just say it's from some space imagery thing.
Yeah, it's
All
I
right,
don't
let's
know.
look at the tarot.
I love that stuff. It's that's a whole we'll have to talk about the that is like its own episode
I
almost.
know, man. Give me some on the divinatory
All right.
delineation thing. Chuck up. You got a Mayan. Let's get some Mayan tarot.
I just got a card. It's a
All
good
right.
one. Got the X
Aha.
card.
All right.
What do I gotta
You
find
got
my
the X card?
X IX.
IX. Ooh. All right.
Close
That's
enough.
neat. That's 11. That's a 1 and an X.
Sir.
Fucking awesome. All right. That's very good for today. And 11 is the two things standing are like the teeth. The man, the grand man. And
I'm
that is and if you look at that, that's fixed air.
you'll have a
And
picture in a
air
second.
is probably the word. In the beginning was the word. That's the symbol of man is probably the ability to use teeth to form the word to have form and get you out of the chaos. That's neat. All right, so 11.
So
That's tying right in. What do you got for the card? What does it look like here?
you should have the picture. It's in the
Ooh.
chat. I'm gonna read a little bit
Oh
about
my
the
God!
book.
Look at this thing.
Yeah, the cards are great. So here's what the summary on those words is. And I'd like to read a little bit on the pages because you'll love it. It's very
Wow.
magnetic, very electric. So we'll start with just the basic
Wow.
Ix. Integrity, heart knowing, alignment with divine will, magician, shaman, jaguar, night seer, priest, torchbearer, and magic. Very appropriate for today.
Very spot on. Um,
I believe I am an
Absolutely.
Ix too, which is very odd.
Torchbearer. I mean, what is a torchbearer? A torchbearer holds the light, and the torch itself is this handle, this pole that's attracting this light, this color to it, which is exactly what this card is showing you right here. Look at that pole in the background that has the X. That's the X. I mean, they didn't just put all that in a random spot. They've got a black polarity line. That's so I think when you get down to deep cores of what air is, what real space is, I think it's sulfuric gas. I think that's what polarity is. I think
Hmm.
that that black line right there that's in there with the yellow tinge on it, because yellow is also representative of sulfur. So that yellow tinge is showing you where sulfur becomes visible. So that black polarity line right there that is a lot bigger than those two little fringes right there is showing you the magnetic qualities of sulfur and
Hmm.
sulfur gas in general. Inside of our being, I think, is very sulfuric gassy. So our consciousness in itself, the ability for air to absorb and attract magnetic color and a personality and a hue is we all have this sulfuric gas in us. And I'll tell you what, I'm a very gassy being. Um, I'll put that on the internet, I suppose, but I don't know. I'm pretty regular. Like I have a very consistent clockwork schedule with using the bathroom in this system, which probably explains my deep obsession with sentence data. I've been very good. I've in my father's house. I'm not even in his house. I've been studying his outhouse where he takes a shit, and
Yeah.
I've gotten really good at figuring out his shitter. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I can shut the door on the outhouse at some point, and then go check out the actual house itself,
Mm.
where there's no bathrooms because they don't eat density and food and shit in there.
Right.
But um, yeah, man.
Yeah,
So
I'm
in
ready for that
sulfur, if you think
lifestyle.
about the father's house, it smells, farts, eggs, gas. You can light that shit on fire, and it's this candle, this light,
It's
and it gives
yellow.
you visible. And sulfur, the burning candle, when you look up and you see the what we call the sun, that is the solar. That's solar. That's the gas burning. That's the sulfuric gas that burns in this circle, probably. I mean, it's like the dynamite with this really long wick that's just going around in this Fibonacci spiral, really tightly packed coil. I don't even know. It's like this. Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's all right. So that's a really cool card. I think that's very appropriate. An 11. The 11's been all over today. The
Right.
teeth, you can see maybe the teeth, what is that? That's a bar. I mean, if you look at that sulfuric bar, and when we have eclipses, everything shows up in the form of a bar, like going across the land, like it's going across this sulfuric pole. So we have a sulfuric gas pole here that this whole thing we call life and this whole system is springing off of. So, I mean, and this shows you that the whole world of color and the cube of creation is the color sitting on top of the white sphere, the gas cloud. So the color forms in the square, in the crystallization aspect, what you see, what builds, but that all builds from the circle, what is eternal. The cube is temporary. That sugar cube right there, that starch cube, that salt crystal, that can melt with
Mm.
alcohol, with algol, with
Yep.
all gold. I
Yep.
mean, that sugar, Swedish sugar, whatever the hell, all those sweet, I don't know, sugar melts. And I mean, you don't want to go melt in the rain because I don't even, I'm really horrible with some of those, but I know that they're all out there. And sugar and salt, they're things that can erode. And look at what you've got it sitting on. You've got it sitting on the real brick, the real bar of gold, the yellow book. And that's
Yep.
showing you that the real yellow, the real bar, the real cube is this bar of gold that emanates this pure white. And the pure white, you can play in the pure white. You can do anything of the pure white. You can even go play in the color and in this world of illusion that's available. This is just practice area. This is all area where you're forming a seed. I mean, you're in here, it's like Jack's magic seeds. He's got this bag of seeds and he's gonna grow this giant beanstalk. Bean is B in. If you be inside, B is a 13. 13's in. It's a prime number. Saturn's G at 7. It's in. This is all about in. This whole entire system. You're in something. You're in us.
Yep.
In us. You're in us. Uranus is the eighth sphere. It's in the heavens. That whole circle spins an opposite way. It spins perpendicular to all the other spheres. That tells you that Uranus, as the eighth sphere, is this pinpoint switch inversion center where things change and flip and invert into consciousness, nonetheless, into air. And
Mm,
so it's where it's the eight, it's the flower. Two eights is the 88. So it birthed Mercury, the fucking devil, the
mhm,
Loki. So, and it's got 88, it's the clover. That is the wheel. That is the ever ending, never ending flower, the flower of life, the eternal now, the heathen. It's never gonna die. I mean, it's always gonna be 13. 13's prime can't be factored. It
mhm.
just can't be. You can't take any numbers and multiply them by each other to get 13 or any of the other prime numbers. It's just not primey. Try me and prime me because primey is prime. Pry me open because that's what the whole point is to get inside, to get in the Father, to get in the invisible, to get in the internal. There, you can do anything you want. It's the real reality. It's the thing that opens up the real external reality. It's how you get a real seed. A real magnetic core is the unseen Father. It's the fastest form of light. It's the unseen portion. It's the part that absorbs, it holds on to. It's going so fast, it creates a time sink and a time warp, and it creates dimensions of time. That is fast, man. That is really quick. That is really, 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 really fast. And that is our eternal aspect of our Father. That is so beautiful. It is so great that all of the things that we just don't know, that we can't know, that are unfathomable, this is all has to be. And if you didn't have it, you would not be an eternal being. If you knew the answers, if you could figure it out, you would not be an eternal being. You would not be of an infinite nature because you would have a bound. You would not be boundless. You
Right.
always need to have no end and no beginning. It's just there is no boundary, no barrier. That's why a moon is fake. There's no sound barrier. There is no sound wall. The word is just an aspect of what is internal. What is internal is not emanated. That's why it's not that which cometh in you that defileth you. It's that which goeth out. And what
Mm.
goes out of you is the sounds that you make. Everything
Expression.
that goes, yeah, the whole, everything we can see, we're in an exterior world of sound. We are playing in the outside looking in. So that's exactly what we're doing. And this is one big playground of sound. Of light bodies of you've got these very hyper fast things invisible. They're so fast you can't see them with the body that you're using to see. That's how
Well,
fast the light is. You
you
can't
can
see
see
yourself
them if with certain substances you can
with
get into that vision field.
certain eyes, with a single eye. Sing
First eye.
hell. You got to sing the universe. Sing, yeah, the and that's a great mystery too. Where is the single eye? Is it your pineal? Pineal? Is that it? Is that gonna? Is it your pie two? Pair E? Mm. Is it the sacrum area? Is it your solar plexus? Is it your sternum where your I think it's your sternum. I think your monopole is your sternum. I think it's where your arms and your body meet. It's where your two ones cross. So whatever
Mm.
Uranus is, whatever your center of your center, it's right in your sternum. That's where your stir in
That
stirring them.
makes
You're
sense.
stirring them. You're stirring them. You're turning them. Where does everything revolves around its turn?
Yeah.
And it all starts with a day. You get a night and you get a day, and that is the central concept of all of duality, all of everything that has an axis, everything that has a pole that's playing in polarity.
How the
And that's what
world
you have to
turns.
have. You got to be a pole dancer and a stripper if you want to be here. You got to take a strip of Uranus, so you can be in us. If you want to be in us, you've got to get a little piece of Uranus, and you've got to be a pole dancer. Um, and this is all out throughout culture. You know, it's all over the place. They're nobody even knows what they're singing about and putting mainstream, and all the art that they're doing. This is all aligned with everything that we are. We're expressing it, and we have no idea, and it's beautiful. And you can see all of this, and it's all right there. You've just got to have the eye to see.
Yep.
Icy,
Icy.
ICE, ice. When it's fucking cold as steel, cold hearted. That's really, it's things that are cold are things you keep. When you cryo freeze a body, you can wake it up, what, in 1,000, 10 million years, whenever, it's frozen. It doesn't matter. It didn't rot. It didn't
Depends, yeah.
deteriorate.
It's how
It
much
got
ice.
kept, heat destroys, heat ionization, molecular ionization, atomization, Adam and Eve, the fall of man, Adam, fall. No, you want to be frozen, cryogenically free, zone, free Z in. Z is a part. Free the inner part. Free the inside part. Freezing. That's the Capricorn, Saturn, the bridge. That's it right there. Free the Z inside. Free your inner part. Um, don't be a cold-hearted bitch. Don't you don't want to do that. Because that's got
maybe a
old.
little bit if you
See
have to.
old. You don't want to have a sea old. You don't want to be an old sea hag. Sea old cold? No way. You want a new sea. A new sea. New say new. Sensei. All that kind of. Those are better sounds. Old, cold, that's just a spelling word. Sea old sea, old energy. We're
Seal.
moving on to it's the new E. You knew E. You knew it the whole time. New is the past tense of no.
Yep.
New is the past tense of no. That's pretty neat. That's what's new. New is not in the past. New is of the now.
Yeah.
So
Based on the
if you
past.
now something, you know something. To K no is to K now. K is upper. You can't make a K sound in your mouth without putting it in the upper part. Up. Kitty. That's why cats are above. Duh. Dog. Cats and dogs. I mean, Mars and Venus. This is all fucking clockwork, man. When you're in the center, when you're in the heart, you can see it all from the center. It's a total eclipse of the heart. You can only see things when they're eclipsed, then you can see them in the real light. So go get yourself in that double eclipse energy this year coming up in, I think it's southern Illinois or southern Indiana, where that
What, the
those
big one?
two, the big one, yeah, 2024.
Oh
It's
yeah,
coming.
I went to the other one. The last one in,
Did you?
was it 2018? Was that when it was? Yeah,
2017, yeah.
2017. Yeah, I
Yeah.
went to that. I went to Tennessee, or I might have been in Kentucky for it actually. We were in the whatever the 100%. It's an amazing experience. Totally surreal. I mean,
Right on.
the closest thing you can get to doing psychedelics without doing psychedelics. I mean, everything,
Yeah.
the whole world
I noticed
changes
too,
in the
eclipse
past.
energy is awesome. It's people, we've been taught to be afraid of it, but I think it's the real electromagnetism beaming around us that when everything else gets canceled out, the bullshit sense energy.
Oh
And
yeah,
then you
it's
get
astounding, man.
it is. It's the membrane connection. It's beautiful. Um yeah, I like it. What do you think, man? 2 hours and some change. 1, 2, 3, 4. twelve
Yeah,
34 right now.
yeah, we
What's
can
what's
wrap it
1
up.
plus 2 plus 3 plus 4? Is that a 10? Let's do one more minute. 12:35 at least. That's an 11. That would be a little bit more appropriate.
Sure. Um,
Let's talk about the appreciate if people are even still listening at this point. I think we had like 23 views last week. It's not really about that. This goes
no,
down into time forever. These waves can be accessed to anything out there. These are cosmically done. These are in the ethers. These are in the thought forms. from our perspective and our little 10% slice of light, we see a tiny portion of today's broadcast. We get a little piece of what went down today. Cosmically, these are huge things that happened today. And, if you're still here, you were part of it with us, and it was for you.
There's
Literally.
notes for later for those that tune in later. We appreciate it definitely. I think it's
Right.
funny because I was thinking about this type of thing, and I was like, really, the goal I think is to decrease our viewership over time, so that people begin living
Right.
their lives more and using this information as opposed to
That's
requiring
that's a
us to
good goal.
provide content.
That's my goal too, to get people in themselves, get them in nature, off electronic devices in general. If you're going to use electronic devices, it's a tool. Let them serve you. Make them work for you.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
but have good intentions and whatnot. But
Yeah.
12:35, brother. It's an 11. Love you,
That's it.
Todd. Everybody else.
Yep. You too. Thanks a
Killed it,
lot,
man.
Barry. Let's do it
Thank
again.
you, man. Next week.